Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. We are here talking about all things love and all things monsters. Yeah, that works. I'm Brandon C. McClure. This is the 228th episode of the Fickner Podcast. With me, as always, is Ben Magnet.
Yo.
Sparks Whitty.
Hey.
And Ryan Eliopoulos.
Ho.
We are here back again doing another live quarantine cast episode. That joke wore out months ago, but I still like it.
We are almost fully a year into the pandemic by now, Brandon.
You guys, if you had told me that we would be doing this a year after we started it, I would have told you that you were crazy.
Yeah.
I
wish that were true. Unfortunately, yeah.
But we're still here, so this is just our lives now. How are you guys doing?
I mean, besides that, I'm doing pretty all right. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, I had a good week.
I hear you. Real quickly, before we get into our weeks, we do have links in the description below. One we'll talk about in the news, so I'll tell you then. We also have Ryan's downright annoyed Robin Hood.
We did. Talked about, I was about to say Dennis Quaid, because we talked about Dennis Quaid on the podcast. Kevin Costner's 1991 Robin Hood. Did I like it? Spoilers, no. That's it. Check it out, guys. It's a really fun. We had a lot of fun talking about it.
Did anybody like it?
Yeah, I had positive thoughts too, but I think it's overall good.
Yeah, better than the Russell Crowe.
Didn't see it. Don't plan to. Sour me on Robin Hood even more.
Watch Robin Hood Men in Tights is the better movie.
Yeah, just stick with Men in Tights.
The only one
and
besides the Disney one.
The only dramatic version of Robin Hood I've seen that I liked was the BBC series.
I've heard good things about that, but that's a TV show. That's so much investment. I just don't got enough time for the Hood.
Yeah.
Well, you watched Arrow. That's
Not the same.
Listen, superheroes. I play games.
I'm also pretty sure
genres I don't like for superheroes.
I'm also pretty sure I used the word sincere in my description.
There you go.
And then we also have one more. It's WandaVision. Right. We didn't do this past episode of WandaVision because I was sick. That was my fault. Or my bad. I don't know.
Not your bad.
No, because we were probably not going to do it anyway because I wasn't going to come home for it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a WandaVision episode in the links below, and we have a Luna's birthday today.
It's the dog's birthday, so she's gonna squeak.
So she's got the toy.
Sorry, guys.
She's got a squeaky toy.
So I apologize to the audio listeners specifically, who's probably very annoyed right now.
It's out of love. It's a love thing.
And then the of course the WandaVision is, I think it's episode 5 is in the description below. So check that out if you hadn't. Our WandaVision episodes are doing very well.
Good. That show's fun. It's fun to talk about.
Yeah. All right. So who wants to go first of their week? Here's my Godzuki shirt, by the way. Godzuki.
Hell yeah. Luna, do you want to go first, you beautiful birthday girl? I'll go first. So I didn't do that much again. I'm gonna be, like I said last week. The next couple weeks it's just gonna be me and
Hold
working.
on, Ryan. I am sorry to do this when on the live stream.
Yeah.
Ben, your company is now
I know.
interfering with his audio.
I know. 1 second.
Okay, Ryan, go ahead.
No, it's cool. I've just been listening to and watching a lot of Critical Role still. I'm still in the works of making my own tabletop RPG that's mecha and kaiju inspired. So it's just a lot of me just with a notepad, mostly paying attention to that and not doing enough writing, and then doing a mass burst of writing as I tend to do. So that's been a lot of fun. I didn't do really any gaming. He was out of town, but I did start today because I've been in an RPG mood forever. Knights of the Old Republic, the original 2003 game from BioWare. Because, guys, I just really want to play Mass Effect so effing bad, and I can't because now that the game's coming out, the legendary one, I can't play the old one because I knew that new one's coming out.
That'd just be silly.
It'd just be silly. Like if my Christmas wish didn't come true, I'd be replaying that original game. But I got that sweet new one coming out soon, so I gotta wait. So I decided to go way back in the past, and I'm like, oh wow, they've been really making the same games and just making them better and better for like better part of 20 years. And it's really cool to see this a company find what they're good at and just thrive on it for years and years because it's the same great like charisma checks and persuasion checks. It's all based on D&D. The thing I forgot about Knights of the Old Republic, it's based off the D&D engine. So you're picking your charisma and your dexterity, and I'm like, I played this game when I was like 11, didn't know any of that shit. But now that I'm an adult and I'm into D&D, and I'm like, oh my god, this game is so much better than I remember because it's just D&D with Star Wars. Like, I don't know if it's using like the official Star Wars engine, but it's like straight up just like D&D stats. And like every time you attack, it shows you like basically like the dice rolls and if you miss and stuff. And I'm like, this is a tactical Star Wars game. It's so good. Also, the story is really great and the voice acting is really great. And in a time back then, like in the early 2000s, when voice acting wasn't the best, like it's really a really sharp script and it's really great voice acting. And it's just fun to play that again on the old Xbox made me boot it up because I bought it on the Xbox store, and it's like really fun and nostalgic to do that. So that was fun. I played about 3 hours of that today, and then I get downright annoyed. So that's me. Critical role playing for life, baby. Hit me up. Role playing all day, every day.
Nice. Better Sparks?
I can go because I hardly did anything. I went back to work this week, and
Wait.
Oh.
I just want to take one quick moment. Right now, doesn't he look like a young David Lynch?
I could see it. Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
it's the hair.
You look like
It's the
a young
hair he's
David
got
Lynch.
going on right now.
Mhm, it's good. You got the good hair. Yeah.
Yes, you.
thanks, I guess.
You look like young David Lynch. You got the right framing.
Yeah.
Got the right amount of facial hair. The hair's
No, you just need like 7 cigarettes in your mouth and say something really weird. And it'll be good.
Don't try it.
No,
Okay, no, you're not there yet.
I'm not gonna try it. So yeah, I went back to work this week, so I wasn't able to do a whole lot because I'm back at work and now my sleep schedule's all messed up. However, I did get to do a few things that I'm really proud of. One of them being I actually got a brand new article on Old School Gamer up on oldschoolgamermagazine.com. That went up this week.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ben. I forgot to put that in the description.
I was about to say because normally you're on that. Well, I mean, I put it up on Monday, so I don't blame you for forgetting. It was way early in the week.
Audio listeners, it is in the link below. If you're watching this on the replay, it's in the link below. Live streamers, sorry.
Which Mag is the only live streamer right now.
Love you, Mag.
Well, yeah, because remember last week I was saying how the website was having a lot of problems and I wasn't able to load it. Well, they got fixed and it works perfectly now. So woohoo!
Nice.
Besides that, I caught up on some of my comics. Now I'm head deep in Marnius Calgar. I got to issue 3, and god damn it, it's getting me. I tried to go to the store today, but the store was closed. It was like 3:00 in the afternoon when I got there, and they supposed to close at 5, but they were closed already. I'm like, what the heck, guys?
Oh, weird.
So, yeah,
I'm actually really glad to know that because I almost left early just to try to go to the store, and I decided that's stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And it was around 2:30 when I got there.
All right.
Or it was like 3:00 when I got there, and I was like, the sign says they close at 5.
They be sneaky sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just figured, screw, I'll just go Wednesday before I go to work. I'll just tell them, like, hey, put Marnius Calgar on my poll because that book's awesome. I also read the first 2 issues of Batman Catwoman. I'm really enjoying that.
Cool.
Probably gonna tell them to put that on my pull list as well. What else did I read? So I read a few of my comic books, not all of them, but a few of them. And Fanny and I watched Antebellum this week too. That was a weird movie.
Oh, we were going to review that a little while back.
We were, but we never did because so Fanny saw it on Hulu and she's like, "Hey, let's watch it." I'm like, "Is that horror movie?" So we watched it, and it's not. It's a light horror movie. I mean, there's horror movie elements, but it's not really like spooky horror movie. And the twist is essentially like.
Well, don't tell us a twist, because I just remembered why we didn't review it because we all heard it was bad.
It's not
I know what the thing is because I read it extensively, and I'm like, oh,
after I told you about it.
Yeah, that's like 60% less cool than I thought.
I watched a video review because I heard it was bad, and then I saw it. I'm like, I'm glad I didn't watch that movie. Oh boy.
After the stream, tell me, but not. I don't. Just in case the audience wants to.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was all right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of black critics who have picked apart like why this wasn't well handled, even though they really like the main character and the main actor performance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the surrounding stuff is problematic.
Okay.
Off stream, Ben, I'll share you an article about it.
Okay. Yeah, so Antebellum was pretty much the big movie I watched. Of course, I watched WandaVision. I actually watched that Thursday night when I came home. I didn't wait till Friday because I didn't want to go on Twitter the next day and be like, spoilers. So we'll talk about that soon. And the other big thing is I just played a tiny little bit of Fortnite, just trying to get the best car armor for my Mandalorian avatar.
Hey, baby.
And I was playing solos. And I got a few solo quests done, but at the same time, in the first time in my life, I got a solo victory royale.
Because you're
I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
You're a pro gamer.
By the way, thanks for the shout out.
Wait, what?
On your article, you shouted me out
Oh yeah, I did. Wait, which one? Yeah,
I should read the articles.
about Fortnite because I gave you the dose I gave you the little taste.
The dose.
That gave you the drug.
Yep. You're right. Yeah. Oh, hey, you did read it. Thanks, buddy.
I did.
But yeah, I told because my article is about how multiplayer is dead. We're still in a golden age of multiplayer because Vault. Yeah, that's pretty much all I did. It was just a tiny little bit of video games, a tiny little bit of reading. I wrote my thing, and I was just getting my ass kicked at work because I went back to work, and I wish I wasn't.
I feel you, bud.
I know there are a lot of people in this country that are like, "Oh man, I wish I could go back," but I really enjoyed staying home, still getting paid for it. But oh well. Say love you.
Yeah.
Gotta go back.
Sparks?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go. Let's see.
Hit it.
Gilmore Girls. There was a lot of Gilmore Girls. The circumstances of my week provided for there to be there was a lot of time for Gilmore Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Have you met Jason yet?
Yes.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah,
I like Jason.
I like Jason sometimes.
Sure.
There was one in particular incident where it's right after Lorelai gets chewed out by her grandmother, and Jason's at that dinner, and then Jason doesn't check in with her after or later or at all, and she ends up crying in Luke's arms, which I'm like, yeah, great, because Luke's great. But I was like, wow, Jason really dropped the ball there.
Yeah.
Anyway, we watched another episode of Haunting of Bly Manor. We are snail pacing our way through that show. I know, what a week, right? That was Monday.
Wow.
We watched another episode of Haunting of Bly Manor. Actually, maybe that was Tuesday.
When did you leave? Wednesday?
I
Tuesday?
left Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Early
It's
Wednesday
probably
morning.
Tuesday.
Yeah. That show's cool. I really like that episode. That episode was funky. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen with the anime group. That continues to be actually we watched 2 episodes, and I am more or less alone on this, but I really like the arc of these last 2 episodes emotionally. I thought that they hit really well. They are very standard shonen kind of things, but sometimes when a thing is good, you don't mind it getting hit again, and it's like a note of that. And it worked for me in this. The way it came together, I thought it was really, really strong. For one of my classes that I'm doing at school, I had to watch the Death of Superman Lives documentary.
Oh, what happened?
That documentary is wild.
Yeah,
and if you haven't watched
John.
it, you should watch it. But I imagine all of you did.
Like
Brandon and I watched it together.
nice.
Yep.
So I had never actually. It always been on my list to do, but I hadn't done it. So I finally done it. I'm mad that movie doesn't exist.
Like the
Frankly.
giant spider story kills me.
Oh my god! When you look at Wild Wild West,
Yeah.
Yes.
you see that, and you're like, that producer clearly is the reason that project died.
Yeah.
Because he just left it spinning its wheels in stupid directions.
I just think of
when Kevin Smith calls him out and he's like, he said no suit, no flying, and the producer's like, I never said that. Why would I say that? That's Superman. Ridiculous.
Seeing that suit in live action and real and it's glowy, and Nick Cage's interpretation of Superman and so goofy, and he loves Mickey Mouse, and
Yeah.
it could work, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever.
Let me tell you, it might not have been a good movie, but it would have been a wild movie that we'd still be talking about.
You would have kept talking about it.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't call Batman and Robin a good movie, but I don't stop talking about it.
Yeah,
either.
that movie's infamous. Yeah,
I'd rather a bold, crazy, weird thing like that. I'm like, this is nothing like the comics, but it is crazy
Mhm.
and intriguing. Just due to the circumstances of my downtime, I watched in a very passive way Monsters Inc., Monsters University, and Ratatouille, all fantastic Pixar films. It was fun to just revisit them. Those are great movies. I'll get into why that downtime exists in a second. I read a lot of Little Char and the Gang because I'm getting ready for our next book club thing. I'm so glad we kept going because literally the next arc, fully like turn the corner, like the writing's getting sharper and things. And I'm like, oh man, so glad we kept with that.
Stay tuned for that.
Hey, I finished 3 Jokers finally.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
I talked to both Ben and Brandon individually about it.
You did.
I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah,
that was a fun text message again because I was at work and I got on my break and I get a text from Sparks and he's like, "Hey, I finished 3 Jokers." I'm like, "Oh shit, I did read that. I totally forgot about that."
I legitimately, when he texted me, I was like, "You hadn't already?"
Yeah, I hadn't finished it. I finally finished it, and the core, like the very, very heart of the thing in that story, I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'm into that. But it's done so sloppily. And the extenuating parts are like they could be interesting, but they're never going to go anywhere because at the end of the story literally tells you this will go nowhere. And I'm like, well, that's just all right.
Wait for the 4th.
And I don't think the implications of the existence of the 3 Jokers is any good by the end of the story. Like why that is a thing, what that means, any of it.
I simply, well, not simply. They wanted to kill a Joker for shock value because how crazy would it be if somebody killed the Joker?
Well, and they had to come up with a dumb answer to the interesting question of why is there more than one Joker that they left an Easter egg about a long time ago.
Should have just left it an Easter egg.
You're right.
Or honestly, just do what other comic book writers do and let someone else tackle it in their own way, like as every comic book artist does with a new arc or something, you know?
Yeah.
You know, Grant Morrison had this idea when he was writing Batman that I love, and Scott Snyder kind of meddled with it, but he didn't really dive into it.
Death metal?
No. Well, meddled, M-E-D.
Yeah, I know.
And he, because Scott Snyder was constrained by the New 52 in the beginning, but Grant Morrison had this idea that every single incarnation of the Batman was one person. Bruce, he called like the 60s and 70s like an acid trip. There's even a issue where Dick Grayson is talking to Tim Drake, and he's like, "One time Batman had a dream that I died," and that's an issue from the 60s.
Yeah.
And so Grant Morrison just had this idea, and I always kind of figured that that's what Jeff Johns was alluding to, that if Batman had been this one person throughout his 50-year timeline, then there had just been multiple Jokers to personify those timelines. But they never did any. They didn't go that way, and I am disappointed.
Yeah, I didn't. I think that like conceptually that might have been the foundation.
Yeah.
But the execution is bad. Quick spoiler, like you don't want to hear it. Jump ahead a couple minutes. A quick spoiler because I do want to talk about it. I do think the idea of the Joker saying, "I made Joe Chill get removed because now I can be your greatest pain. I removed your worst pain in your life so it can be me," is a good concept.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the Joker saying, "I know that this is the thing that bothers you the most. I'm going to give you closure so that it can be me now." That is so perfectly in line with the core of the Joker in the comics of like, I must be the sole thing in your world that drives that. And I'm like, that idea, good. Everything around that idea, not so good.
Yeah.
I think I came into that book really enjoying the idea of exploring some of these things about Jason Todd. I think more than anything, just an exploration of what got me is I revisited issue 2 to read issue 3 because it had been too long. The part where Barbara said, "We all wanted to be there, but we didn't know you were alive." And Jason said, "No one's ever said that to me before." And the pain of that like Bruce has never said it to him and that kind of thing. My hope was that the 3rd issue was going to give some kind of Bruce Jason moment regarding that. That never comes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think bothers me the most about is that you decided to dredge up the trauma both those characters have suffered because of Bruce. And you didn't actually do anything with it, engaging with Bruce. And that, I'm like, why'd they even need to be part of the story then?
I don't think he's, at least to my knowledge, he hasn't written Jason Todd a lot, so I think it was an excuse so he can write that character. Like,
sure.
He's writing a Bat Family story.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. It's like, I'm like, this is an interesting thing to explore, but you're not going to do it. And not only that, you're going to leave the character in a place where he's going to pretend They literally say, I'm pretending the events of the past few days never happened. And I'm like, that's so dumb. That is insane. Anyway, I want to get off that, unless anyone else has anything to say about it.
I mean, the only other thing I have, I told you what my biggest problem with, or one of my biggest problems with Three Jokers was, but that's a spoiler at the very end of the book, and I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read it yet.
Ultimate joke.
Yeah. I started, I'm starting, like, I haven't kept up on my comics since we finished Ten of Swords, so I've been behind on my X-Men.
I'm a month behind. I picked up my pull and I had I had too many books. It was crazy.
So I'm picking back up on my X-Men. So I read a few X-Men. This is like Hellions 9, X Factor 5, whatever. I read a couple of those, and that happened. I'm also building my way back because I want to just like read through everything related to it and then build back into King in Black. So I read Silver Surfer Black again.
Nice.
If you haven't read it, Silver Surfer Black is great. This was my second time through. I love that book.
Yeah.
I love that book.
That book rules.
That book is probably going to be a book club soon.
Yeah.
Okay. That was pretty much everything I did because I had a lot of downtime, as I suggested, because Tuesday night at 2
I
a.m.
had a baby.
Tuesday night at 2 a.m. My brother and his wife, they had to go to the hospital because she was giving birth to her son. And Megan and I agreed to quarantine for the past couple weeks so that we could go there. We could take care of their animals, take care of the house. We were there starting Wednesday morning, and they got home yesterday with their son. And anyone who's listening to this episode gets a special treat because they named him Monroe Sam Johnson, and they named him after me, which touched me a lot because his middle name is after my name.
Spoilers.
And that was really nice. And he's really cute. He's really cute. Angel, perfect little angel. I love him.
Looks just like his dad.
So much like his dad. It's ridiculous. I need to dig up some baby pictures of his dad because they look the same. He's a healthy, happy baby.
You just need to put a little controller in his hands immediately.
Yeah. So we were there for the past few days, and it's been great. We were really excited. I'm really glad we got to spend that time with them. But I'm really happy for my little nephew. So that was a good week. It was a good week because he was born.
From our show and the listeners to Travis and Marissa, congratulations on your healthy baby boy.
Plus one to life, baby. Look at that.
My little nephew.
Nephew.
Okay, I guess it's my turn.
B-Town.
This week I was incredibly sick, like so sick. On Tuesday, my chest hurt, so I couldn't inhale. I couldn't move. I couldn't. Let me tell you, when you're in a pandemic, whose major symptom is like breathing issues, and you have breathing issues, you're in a panic.
I believe.
So like I had a headache, I had a cough, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk. It was bad, you guys. So I didn't do a whole lot except for watch a couple movies later on in the week. Wasn't COVID according to the test. It didn't have a temperature, even though I was sweating and shaking at the same time, which is wild whenever you're sick and you're just like, I'm not hot, but I'm sweating, and I'm not cold, but I'm shivering.
Oh my God, this is definitely from Dewey Cox. You need more blankets and less blankets.
Yes. So on Tuesday I was really sick. By Wednesday I started to feel better. We got a lot of medicine in me. I got a call from my boss saying, "Hey, we have to lay you off."
Yep.
So I had the worst week ever.
Yeah.
That was pretty shitty. Like, I understand. I have no hard feelings for this. They're not getting the work. They don't need me. It just sucks that I'm actually unemployed now and not just like kind of traipsing through life.
Yeah. Well, now I feel like an asshole for bitching about going back to work. I'm sorry, dude.
It's okay. No, I don't mind. We all know you hate your job. Truth be told, I hate my job too. I just liked having the job security during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, there's that. Hey, I'm in the market for a new job, guys. Anyone need a writer? Look. So anyway, that's that. But I did have one really good day this week, and she'll kill me if I don't say this. I celebrated my 5-year anniversary with my girlfriend Zara. On Thursday. We've been together for 5 years. in February. February is awful because it's like it's our anniversary, it's Valentine's Day, and then it's her birthday.
Hey, at least you're kind of getting it all knocked out in one bing bang bong. Look at that.
That's true. If I had the money to get her gifts, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
Or you just get like one big, or because this is what my parents would do all the time when I was young.
I'm not into that shit. I don't do that.
Oh, that one big thing is like, this is your this and this, like birthday and Christmas.
But she being the wonderful girl she got me some lounge pants that I'm wearing right now, and I won't show you because that's rude. And then 2 little keychains. I can't get them to a point where you'll watch them, but they have the faces of my 2 favorite. We have 4 pets. My 2 favorite pets, Oreo and Valentina.
No,
Nice.
So I'm very, very happy. So yay, lovey-dovey shit. And then we have
Yay.
Okay, we talked a bit about Tim Burton's Superman. That's very interesting because I watched Maggie Mae Fish's video on Tim Burton this week.
Nice.
And I thought that was an incredible analysis. If you've seen her Zack Snyder 3-parter, she's great. She does great videos. I highly recommend, especially if you, like me, have had issues with Tim Burton and haven't been able to voice them and really kind of feel like you're crazy for them. Because everyone talks about how great Tim Burton is, and I like Tim Burton, but I've never been like, oh, Tim Burton. Like you see a lot of people are. I don't really care for Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas, Beetlejuice. Really, the only movie that I love of his is Mars Attacks, which is a great movie.
Big Fish.
Oh yeah, Big Fish is a very good movie. I always forget that's Tim Burton. It doesn't quite feel like a Tim Burton.
It's the least Tim Burton film.
yeah, Big Fish is great.
and of course Batman.
I see. I've mentioned before, and you always forget. I'm not crazy about his Batman movies.
All right.
Right.
You always forget.
So, and look, I like him. But so watching this video, she really, much like the Zack Snyder one, she really like contextualizes the issues that I had with it and was able to voice them in a way that made sense to me to finally like understand what I've been feeling, and being able to voice them in general. Which is what she did with Zack Snyder. So I thought that was really great and kind of like an eye-opening thing for me that I really appreciated. Great video. I highly recommend. Not just if you don't like Tim Burton, but just in general. She's great. Support her. I watched X-Men Days of Future Past for some reason. Don't worry about it. Specifically the road cut, because I like that one better.
Well, we just talked about the road cut, so I'm sure that was subconsciously in your brain. That's why you did it.
Well, no, it's because of WandaVision. Spoiler alert.
Oh, there you go.
But I wanted to watch the road cut because I was going to watch Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix, and I finished Days of Future Past, and I said, nah, I'm good. Because I guess I don't like the X-Men films as much as I remember liking them. I still like X1 and X2. I think those movies are great. And Logan, great. But like especially like the post First Class movies, I'm looking at like, there's just the direction they go in specifically is just not the direction they should have gone in.
I think especially like now on some level, you are much more familiar with the X-Men from the comics,
too.
And you're realizing where the films are different, and you're going, how'd we get here?
You mean how you can call those movies basically anything but X-Men movies?
And like I've always known after First Class, especially that Jennifer Lawrence was an awful choice for Mystique. But watching the road cut, it really put it into perspective. There's also a line that they shouldn't have cut. Peter, sorry, it's not Pietro in the X-Men films. It's Peter. His mom says to his little sister, "Go get your big sister," implying that Wanda exists in that universe, but we just never see her because she's.
And that little sister is Polaris.
Polaris,
Okay.
yes. And that's not in the theatrical cut, and I think that's weird because it's like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
There's just like I was watching the movie and I was thinking to myself of all the directions that you could go with Xavier and Magneto. That's really just it.
Yep.
Because they really botched that relationship after First Class and Days of Future Past. Anyway, look, those movies are done. Well, who cares? I watched the 1998 Godzilla film. Zara wanted to watch a Godzilla movie. I don't know why I chose that one for her.
Oh boy.
She loved it.
That's a lot of fish.
She loved it, and I think because it's a disaster movie and she really likes disaster movies. Otherwise, like, she's only seen like a smattering of Godzilla's. I've told the story of our horrible date where we went to see Shin Godzilla together. But so she's seen Shin Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, and now this one. And she really liked it. Although she was bugged that Godzilla didn't look like Godzilla. While I was sick, I watched Batman: Soul of the Dragon, which is the latest DC animated movie from Warner Brothers. And this one is in the style of Bruce Timm, set in the 70s. This could be the drugs talking, but I had a blast. I thought it was great. A lot of fun.
Good. That's excellent.
I think the fight scenes are awesome. There's a lot of Bruce Wayne and not a lot of Batman, which was very good because I'm sick of Batman.
I might watch that then. That's good to hear.
We get some flashbacks to their training. Richard Dragon and everyone, all the characters together, their training. There's a dude with snake hands. Didn't appreciate that, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. Richard Dragon is the main character of the movie. It's not Batman. He's the side character. And I thought that was a really compelling character that I had never read anything of. I always kind of like heard of him and like hear him in the outskirts because I know a lot of obscure DC characters. But I definitely need to pick up more of him because he ruled.
Good, excellent.
Yeah, I recommend. Honestly, it's very good. The last two DC animated films, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and this one have been solid. So I'm liking this direction so far. I watched The Bounty Hunter with Gerard Butler and Jennifer Aniston. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to talk about it. Just had to mention it because I watched it. A Knight's Tale. I watched A Knight's Tale. Paul Bettany, Alan Tudyk, Heath Ledger. Great movie. Still holds up.
That's a good movie.
Needs a remaster like crazy.
I really need to rewatch it. I've never seen it. I've only seen snippets of it thanks to my high school English class.
I hadn't seen it in probably 2 decades. It's very good. I recommend it, Ben. I think you'd really like it. It has a Blu-ray, but as what I can tell is the Blu-ray is the same quality as the DVD because they weren't really doing much in the way of quality control back then.
Ew.
Which means really the Blu-ray is the quality of the DVD, and the DVD they put out with the Blu-ray is lowered.
Yes.
Quality. Yeah.
Which is what they did back then. Needs a remaster. For sure. I think that movie would look really great with a remaster.
Beautiful.
Frozen. I watched Frozen. It's an alright movie.
No, that's Frozen 2.
Oh, that's the good movie, sorry.
Frozen's fine. But we were going to do a princess movie marathon, and we got to Tangled, which is my favorite princess movie. Loved Tangled. Loved watching it again. We decided to finish the show.
Nice.
So that's the big thing we did this week is we finished Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. Excellent. I have actually been bearing the lead on the TV series for a bit. I feel like when I talk about it, it really just comes off as this is a show where Rapunzel and Flynn get into wacky adventures, when it is actually about Rapunzel trying to save the world in Corona from an ancient demon who lived thousands of years ago, who fought an ancient wizard who lived thousands of years ago, that Mother Gothel was apprenticed to.
Oh, you didn't get that from the movie?
The movie is reframed, and this is actually something I like when done well, especially. So we talk about the trope, everything you knew is wrong, which is what Green Lantern did after Jeff Johns left. I don't like that trope because it basically just means like you're rewriting what had come before. What Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure definitely does is what you knew was only a small part of the story. What's going on over there, you guys? You're laughing.
Cat stuff.
Astra's screaming at the bathroom because Megan's taking a shower.
Yeah, it is. Tangled the movie ends up becoming a small part of the story. There is a larger destiny that Rapunzel has that is the reason why Mother Gothel took her, or was led to her. Not necessarily took her because she's just a main character and she didn't she was only too young. But it is implied in the movie that she lived thousands of years, so they really expand on what those thousands of years were like with these evil demon and ancient wizard and all sorts of things with like a dark kingdom that arose from the opposite of the Sunshot Flower in power. It really is a wonderful series with great mythology building, awesome character development, and character arcs, especially in the sense that like well, actually, I'm gonna rewind a bit on that one because like sometimes they don't do the character beats you think they should. They kind of like, forget about them. That's only happened like once or twice, but I forgive it because of some of the other stuff is really excellent. I highly recommend. One of the best writing in an animated Disney show I've seen in years.
Does she use her hair as weapons?
Yes.
Good.
Because she gets a new power.
Ooh.
Yeah, and there's new characters. I think there's still a little. I think you could still tell more of that story. There is probably another story to be told, and I think it'd be really great if Disney did a feature length, like full blown animated movie, to kind of like make a sequel to Tangled 2, but also end the story started in Rapunzel's Tangled adventure. I think that'd be really great.
Do it.
That's all I did. That's all I got.
Love it. Sounds good to me, baby.
So shall we get into our bread and butter?
Give me the bread. Give me the butter. Baby.
All right. Bread and butter time. How much is the intro again? I'm kind of out of it.
Say that again? What?
I almost did the intro again after the bread and butter thing ended.
Oh boy, here we go. Let's do it, baby.
All right. We got some tough stuff to talk about in the beginning because we're going to talk about Charisma Carpenter. Cordelia.
Hold on. Stop. Sorry. If we're gonna have Brandon relaying the news to us, Brandon, your audio is starting to really cut in and out.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Like
bad?
hardcore.
Can you hear me now?
You gotta talk for a little longer of a break.
We gotta talk a while because it's been.
Why don't you take out your why don't you do it? Because you guys have access to the thing, right?
Yeah, I got the thing right here pulled up right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Ben. Let's just hope that Brandon maybe writes himself after this one.
Yeah. So Charisma Carpenter, she's spoken out about the abuse that she endured from Joss Whedon. Her statement is linked down and below. So one of the reasons why this popped up is because she's showing her support for Ray Fisher, saying that Ray Fisher showed his support for her by saying, I am forever grateful for her courage and for her lending her voice to the Justice League investigation. And Ray also still demands an apology from Walter Amada. Let's see who else. Amber Benson came out in support of saying Buffy was a toxic environment.
Ben, pause. Let them speak now.
So slow down, Ben. Don't race all. The way you framed that sounded a little confusing. Let's be clear. Charisma Carpenter was thanked by Ray after she expressed what she said. You kind of said it in a way where it sounded like she said it because Ray said stuff about her first. Yeah. So she came out with this whole statement about Joss Whedon, and then go ahead, read the list. The people who also came out.
It's linked below, by the way, her statement.
Yeah, he got that. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. Let's see. Amber Benson came out in support, saying that Buffy was a toxic environment, and it starts at the top. At All Charisma, which is Charisma Carpenter's Twitter handle, is speaking truth, and I support her 100%. There was a lot of damage done during that time, and many of us are still processing with it 20 plus years later. # I stand with Ray Fisher, and # I stand with Charisma Carpenter. Here's a name. Michelle Trachtenberg, like tractor. Okay. Who played Dawn on the show, also made a statement about his inappropriate behavior, saying that there was a rule that he was not allowed in a room alone with her. Yikes.
Oh my God.
And of course, Buffy herself, Sarah Michelle Gellar, made a statement saying that she stands with all the survivors of abuse and that she is proud of them for speaking out. Eliza Dushku also made a statement saying that she is with Carpenter and that she wasn't aware of the abuse she went through. And Anthony Stewart Head was gutted to hear all of this. Who did Anthony play? Was he like
Giles?
Giles.
Okay, I'm not a big Buffy guy, so I wouldn't know.
You work your glasses.
I mean, which
Amber Benson played
Tanya.
Tanya. Michelle Trachtenberg, obviously. So Michelle Gellar. Eliza Dushku was Faith.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Am I better? Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're all clear
You
now.
sound great.
I had to unplug it.
Was that the whole list, Ben?
Yes, that was the whole list.
James Marsters also voiced his support for them, saying that, referencing back how he's made no secret that like Buffy was not an easy workspace.
That sucks. I didn't
and
know
that he 100% believes everything.
The
being
Charisma
said.
Carpenter stuff was an open secret for a long time. I remember Sparks and you and I were talking about how her treatment was really shitty in Angel when she got pregnant. It's just as a character.
Yes, it's very clear if you watch Angel that the character is treated poorly, and it's because it's a 1-for-1 of what was being done to her while she was really pregnant in real life, which we didn't know. Brandon and I didn't know was the reality, but that's what it was, and I highly recommend reading her whole statement. It's really sad.
Man, that's a bummer. I didn't know about if Buffy was like a bad set to work on, but that was like over 20 years ago, or over 20 years ago at this point, and like still doing this kind of shit. I'm like, man, that just bums me out, man.
I think nothing made me. It all made me sad. I shouldn't say it that way. Nothing. I think put it as succinctly, I think, as Anthony Stewart Head's statement, which is that when after her statement came out, he thought he explained that he thought, well, that was on Angel and I wasn't on that, so I guess I understand how that could have happened and I wouldn't have seen it. But then as the others from Buffy were speaking up and saying this happened, he's like, he said, like, I didn't sleep well. I've been going over it in my head and I'm like, how did I not see this?
Yeah.
How did I not see this? And in his further statement, he talked about how he knew he was like a father figure to some of these young actors. And he's like, that they felt they couldn't come to me. That's how well hidden this was. Because I truly believe, like, you can say like, oh, like it's enablers and it's people who like, they're not saying anything. They know it's happening, but they're not saying anything. I think Anthony Stewart Head's statement really shines a light on Joss Whedon hid it so well.
Yeah.
That was the thing. I think that Joss Whedon was very good at making sure that behavior came out only when he wanted it to come out, and only who he wanted it to come out to.
Closet manipulator.
Because I have a very hard time believing that's a lie from Anthony Stewart Head. That he just can't even imagine how he missed this, and he's trying to go over all these things, and it's because he hid it so well. That's why this has been such a buried thing for so long. Joss Whedon was able to mask it, and it's super gross and sad, and it's a big bummer. And I talked to a friend of the podcast, John Radley, because he was like, man, I feel like this came out of nowhere. And I'm like, well, not out of nowhere. We did have the whole write-up from his ex-wife not too long ago where it kind of like raised the first alarm bells about stuff like this. And he's like, right, I remember that happened, but I kind of wanted to, like, because nothing else happened, I kind of wanted to believe that was maybe just like a spurned woman kind of thing. And I'm like, that's probably the reason why Joss has gotten away with all this, is because of that exact mentality where it's like, no, can't be. Joss Whedon, known for the feminism show? Like, that's ridiculous. And
I think, honestly, that is a lot for a lot of people. Like, he did bring so many like strong female icons, like for so many like young women growing up, and I'm like, it's just, you don't want to think that like the dude is the predator to the people that like he makes these shows for, but I'm like, that's exactly why he does it, and that's really awful.
Yeah. And I also want to, I stand by everything we talked about, because I talked through this with John a lot. I said, I still stand by everything that I've said, and I've seen this message being shared a lot, especially with Buffy, that, go back to our separating art from the artist episode that we did. I still stand by my opinions on that, which is that, Whedon being crappy doesn't change the art's impact on you. You can still like Buffy. A whole lot of other people put a lot of good work into Buffy. There's still a lot of things for you to attach to be important to you. And him being shitty doesn't change that impact for you. Just, you know, now when you revisit it, unfortunately, you'll have to like measure it with those eyes, but that's still, the art is still the art for you for what it meant. But it is a bummer, and we're gonna have to do that with all of Whedon's stuff going forward. It is kind of nice because we're still not getting full in detail on what exactly was going on with Whedon or what happened with Ray Fisher at the Justice League set. Like, we've only gotten some vague nods, and like I said, that one that just I believe Fisher, but that one about the color correction just doesn't land. Not because I necessarily don't believe Whedon would do it, but because I don't believe that the whole production team would do it.
Yeah.
But this does certainly bring a little bit more. Unfortunately, it takes more people speaking up, but it does bring a lot more to, like, Ray Fisher's probably right. There's probably a lot of shitty shit that was going on that Ray Fisher took note of. It's a bummer.
For me, it really sucked because when I was starting to watch all like the comic book stuff and really getting into being a fan of all this nerd stuff. Joss Whedon's name was thrown around all the time, being that he's like one of the kings of nerd. He was like one of the nerd kings. Like, he made Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He directed the Avengers. He did all this great stuff that a lot of people love.
Real quick, Ben, Avengers, like, when it was announced that Joss Whedon was going to write and direct the Avengers, that was like the biggest win on the planet for nerds. Like, the biggest movie on the planet was going to be directed by the guy who wrote our favorite comic books.
That's still a great movie.
And it's still a good movie. But I mean, like,
change that.
This doesn't happen. Like, the guy who made Buffy is going to make the biggest property on the planet. Like, it shouldn't work as well as it did. And I'm like, it's crazy.
Yeah, you can be talented and be an asshole.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just saying, like it's crazy that, like, he went from Buffy to Avengers. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, now that I'm hearing, because like when all the stuff about Ray Fisher is like, okay, maybe he just grew into this asshole, but now that all the stuff about when him being an asshole during the Buffy years is like, oh, he's always been like this.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Is like, what kind of shit did he pull on Avengers? Like, I remember I read somewhere, I don't know if this is 100% true, but when Elizabeth Olsen was cast in Age of Ultron, I guess Joss Whedon told her that she will never, ever wear the original comic book suit, and look where we are now.
That's not abuse. I want to be clear. That's not abuse.
I mean, it's not abuse, but still him being a bit of a dick.
I don't know about that one. I'm not going to get onto a defending train of Joss Whedon. It's a really low.
I'm somewhat with you, but that's simply a thing of, like, you're never going to wear that silly 60s costume.
I think more the thing to analyze, Ben, in relation to, like, Avengers would be, like, Elizabeth Olsen's made no secret about not being a fan of the cleavage on the outfits, and this goes past Whedon's film, but it certainly was established in Whedon's film. Yeah. Because nowhere does she have it more heavily than in that movie. Yeah. So that's certainly an existent thing. It also. I was talking with Megan about this, and I'm like, man, there is one thing in Age of Ultron that I really hate, and I've never been able to get past it, and now I hate it even more, which is the Black Widow pregnancy story.
You mean how she's a monster because she can't have kids?
And then you hold that up next to the Charisma Carpenter thing, and I'm like, man, this is really gross, and I really hate it.
Oops.
Yeah. So
the boob fall. That's him.
Also in Justice League with Wonder Woman for literally no reason. Yeah,
so
you know, oh, that's what it is. It's funny. I'll laugh next time I never watch it.
Which certainly puts into a perspective, at least I think, on Buffy and Angel, how much maybe other writers had a lot to do with, like, not necessarily, like, you know, more like just pushing those ideas into a filter, so that the best ideas of Whedon's are coming through, but the worst things aren't necessarily showing.
What's his name? The guy who did Cabin in the Woods, Drew Goddard, that guy?
Drew
Goddard. Thank you. Like, he was a Buffy guy. Like, there's a bunch of people who were in that Buffy writing room. Like, of course, Joss Whedon was there, but he brought in a bunch of talented people who now become just as talented as him.
Yeah. Someone spoke about the Cabin in the Woods. Like, I don't know how I'll ever be able to watch Cabin in the Woods again. I was like, well, Joss Whedon really co-wrote it. I think you're good.
Yeah. The actors did stuff with that script. The director changed that script. Yeah.
Again, it is a much harder conversation to have, I think, about, I don't know how I'll read a comic by Joss Whedon again.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't know, like, the shows or the movies that he was a part of. I'm like, there are a lot of other people who were a part of those things. And a
lot of puzzle pieces.
Like, Avengers is really good. Like, him being crappy doesn't change the fact that that's a tight script, a well-done film. those issues we're talking about in Age of Ultron, they don't happen in Avengers for some reason. Like maybe because the movie just had to keep moving, there wasn't time for that. But like it doesn't change those things.
Whedon didn't write Avengers; he only wrote Age of Ultron.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because Zack Stentz wrote Avengers.
But Whedon did touch up like the banters and
touch up, yeah.
That's what I mean. Is like his hands on that don't change the fact that that's good. That's a thing that it has its impact. It has its impact. There's so many other people that work on those things. Like you can't hang it all out.
There's like a secret Marvel committee that like Bendis was on for like 8 years, where he's like secretly helping write there's a secretly like 10 people writing all those Marvel movies, even if there's 2 screenwriters.
That committee, Feige hated them.
Yeah, I'm glad they're gone because like that's why it was so generic for so long. I think.
Yeah, well, that's also why Edgar Wright left, was because of that committee.
And now they're best friends again. Yeah. Let's get back together.
Okay.
But yeah, I just I'm glad that this moment happened.
Yeah.
I wish it could have happened sooner. That's not putting it on Charisma Carpenter to have come forward sooner or anything like that. It's a hard thing to do. I wish that I wish that earlier, when Ray Fisher had been fighting this fight, maybe we'd been able to hear more voices. But I understand that that's a really hard thing to do. Charisma Carpenter's message makes it pretty clear how difficult it was how much she talked herself out of it actually being what it was.
Yeah.
Brutal. So, well, here's hoping that this actually leads to full-blown justification for Ray Fisher and ramifications for Whedon's behavior. I'm very curious how much more we're going to hear from a lot of different people, because a lot of people have worked with Whedon on a lot of repeat projects. So
I just hope we don't hear any more of. I have never had problems with him. He's a great guy.
Yeah. I hope we don't see that,
because that happens too many times with really nice people, and I'm like, I know you're a nice person, but you can't be saying this shit. You can't do it.
That's the thing. Well, that's the thing. Is like that's why I said like that. Why I wanted to start with I think Anthony Stewart Head's point is really, really important, because like for some people like Harvey Weinstein, it is kind of like a open secret.
Yeah,
where everyone's kind of aware, and they're kind of like I'm not going to be the guy that comes forward because that man holds the power. That kind of thing. Anthony Stewart Head's statement makes me feel more like Joss Whedon just knew how to like really make sure that it was covered, that it was hidden, that it was masked, that like, I know who's going to be cool with it. Most of these people aren't going to be cool with it. So I'll make sure that they don't catch it, and that kind of thing. And I think that really was
super skeeve. Yeah.
So while I agree, like, I don't want to see people saying like, like this just doesn't sound like Joss or that kind of thing. I don't mind them saying like, I can't imagine where this was happening. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't fault you for that. I do think that he was just really good at hiding this.
Oh yeah. Bad boy.
Okay, moving on. Am I still good with the mic?
Yeah. You are great.
Sound beautiful.
Never sounded better.
Oh, you guys, stop.
Okay, bye.
Blue Sky Studios sadly has been shut down. This was an acquisition from Disney when they bought 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox had an animation studio, Blue Sky. They put out Ice Age and recently Spies in Disguise. They are shut down effective immediately, with all of their 450 employees laid off. However, Disney will try to find them new jobs within the company. So
that's good.
They were apparently about 75% done with their newest film, Nimona, based on the comic book.
Yeah,
and they will no longer be making that movie. There, a lot of projects apparently are just like, we're not moving these to Disney. They're gone.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Given where we're at, what we know because of this last investor meeting, that they're continuing Ice Age on Disney Plus.
Yes.
It's a different company though.
But like, right. But I'm thinking like the project that's 70% done. I'm like, what do you got to lose? Move it over, finish it. And keep the team and let them finish the project and put it on Disney Plus.
These guys also made movies like
Rio
and like
Robots.
No offense to the studio, but like all of the movies I've ever seen of theirs have been fine to bad. So like maybe this new movie was just not up to Disney standards, which personally I don't think any of the movies are up to Disney standards. And they were just like, sorry, like it's just not good enough. We don't want to invest anymore, which sucks. But like, I mean, I'm
Well,
just looking at
Disney
the
made
release.
clear. Disney made clear that this decision was pandemic related. Like they were just like, we can't keep another animation studio open right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, like this was a studio that had to go.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. Like, I don't like anyone to lose their jobs, but like, I'm sure if the pandemic wasn't happening, they'd get this one. They'd get another chance with another movie.
I think Nimona, as Brandon pointed out, is just kind of the confusing one where I'm like, when you're at 70%, because like Blue Sky also did the Peanuts movie we recently talked about that was so good, right? Yeah,
okay,
that movie was fantastic. So not everything that came out of Blue Sky was necessarily not on the level. Like that was on the level. So that's kind of the thing where I sit there and I go, 70%, like just let them finish it.
Yeah.
Move them over, let them finish it, put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Especially if you're saying we're trying to find jobs for most of these people. Give jobs to most of those people.
Like Spark said, there will be a new Ice Age coming to Disney Plus because Disney is keeping the IP. They're not getting rid of that. But Spies in Disguise, I really liked Spies in Disguise, honestly. I thought it was a delightful surprise. So, bummer.
Yeah.
But Blue Sky wasn't the only thing let go from Disney, as Gina Carano, I've been waiting to say this news item for months. Gina Carano has been fired from her role as Cara Dune on The Mandalorian from Lucasfilm.
Man, what a week.
Just to pick up, Jesus Christ, like a new movie with like Ben Shapiro producing, who's just the worst, like not to get political, worst is shithole on the planet. What a leap down, Gina. Like, yeah, I don't need you guys. I got my own movie coming out.
What are you talking about? The rebellion has just begun.
It's so funny. Hey, you know what I love about Hollywood? There's tons of talented buff ladies who can take on this role that we're just gonna get someone who's way cooler and a way better actress. And like Gina Carano was cool and like she's a great stunt lady, but like I'm not gonna miss her too much.
I really like that character.
Yeah,
I don't like her, but I really like.
And they're gonna recast it with someone even better. Watch it. Bing bong.
I want it to be Regina from Once Upon a Time, but
yeah,
she'd be great. Lana Perla, I believe is her name. Yeah. Did you have more in the news side of this that you wanted to say?
Well, I wanted to read Lucasfilm's statement. They said Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable.
Okay.
Which they were.
So I've thought a lot about this week, as I think most people have. And here's my thing. There is absolute, like, the audacity of people to be so upset that a company fired someone for things they said. They're like, everybody knows this. I know everybody on this podcast knows this, but like, demanding freedom of speech, this is a violation. I'm like, no, she's not being arrested. She was fired. Anybody can be fired from their job for expressing things that the company that they're working for feels goes against their identity
100%.
Publicly.
Yes.
Anybody. That's not illegal. That's how it works. That's Colin Kaepernick. That is the same situation. So let's be clear. Go ahead, Ben.
Just the amount of people I've seen tweet and go on Facebook and be like, she was just expressing her political views, but that somehow gets you canceled. It's like, no, she got fired.
It's not canceled. It's not canceled.
Yeah, every time someone says like,
she still has. The thing is, Ben, I'm so sorry. This cancel thing pisses me off. She still has a platform. That doesn't mean you're canceled.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to get canceled if I could go onto any talk show, any social media post. What the hell does canceled mean anyway?
It's just that's just a tool.
Well, people.
It wasn't a real question. If you're gonna like really answer it, I don't want to put you through that mental gymnastics. It was a rhetorical question.
No, I'm just saying that because I've seen so many people like, cancel culture this, cancel culture that. It's like she got fired. She said some really bad shit and she got fired. If I were to say some really bad shit, I would definitely get fired. I didn't get canceled. People are still asking her, are they probably gonna hire? I mean, hell. If she was like officially canceled, no one on the planet would want to touch her.
There's no such thing as canceled culture. Doesn't exist.
I don't know. It just really pisses me off when people on the far right are trying to be like, but this is like, no, you're.
It's just they want to play victims.
Only pushing back a little bit is that cancel culture does exist because they have made it a thing that exists. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Like it is a thing that exists because they have made it a thing that exists, and we can't ignore that fact. Like that is it is a reactionary thing, and it is a buzzword that is used to fuel down to a point and divide. That's what it's for. But the point of what I wanted to get to about it is that what irritates me about this situation is I think Disney and Lucasfilm were well within their rights to fire her. The problem I have is that I hate the vague way they did it. I don't feel that they act like the phrasing of it acts like she was fired, and also sorry, it doesn't even act like she was fired. It was like we couldn't find a use for her. Also, we disagree with what she said. The two are not correlated in their statement. Their statement reads like she's not currently employed with us, and we decided we're not going to employ her.
Coward's fire.
Yes, exactly, and that's my biggest issue with it. That I am so bothered that they did not come out and clearly state we fired her because we disagree with these things, because that's where it feels like cancel culture. It does feel like Disney just did it because of the social media response and backlash to her, not because they're like, we really didn't like that she did that, that's why we're firing her.
Like James Gunn.
I wish that they had made a more clear and defined statement on that, because that left the room for this response. And it was a vague and cowardly way for them to handle it, and I hate it. I really, really, really hate it. Because, frankly, what Gina Carano said was bad. About, if you didn't see the post, it was comparing the suffering of what those during the Jewish people during the Holocaust suffered in the lead up to it, by how Nazi Germany turned their neighbors against them first, and that kind of thing, and comparing that to the plight of Republicans being criticized for their political opinions and views, which are not the same thing, not the same kind of suffering, and that was really, really shitty. However,
Gina Corano was not fired for being a Republican. She was fired for being an asshole.
Yeah, but like I really wish that Disney had come forward and been like, because now we're hearing things, whether true or not, we're hearing things about how like she was supposed to have her own spin-off series that they decided not to do because
we heard about that. We were hearing rumblings about that.
Right, but like however much we can corroborate this or not, that she didn't get it because of the social media backlash. Again, specifically the way that people are talking about it, she didn't get it because of the social media response, not because of the things she was saying. And the things she was saying before against trans people and about like mocking people taking the pandemic seriously, also no good.
Yeah.
Also things that like this whole time Disney should have come forward with this moment and said a statement like, a lot of these things that she's been saying do not represent us. We don't agree with them, and that's why we fired her. Literally like said, this is why she's not part of it. Not, she's not currently employed, and we just won't. By the way, we don't agree with what she said. They left that space open to say like this is to appease you fans that are upset.
Yeah,
I just wish they hadn't done that.
Gina Carano also had a really interesting relationship with Star Wars fans for so long. The first season, she was seen as a SJW monster or whatever the hell they say.
No, she like Comicsgate people like hated her because like, oh, she's like a big like strong woman or whatever, and now she's like.
And then when she was revealed to be an asshole, Republican, then they were like, oh my god, she's the best.
No, yeah, it's funny.
It's really dumb, and I think like the worst part about it, the reason. What I wish Lucasfilm had said is that not only do we not agree with the things she's saying, we don't like the way that she engages with fans of Star Wars, which would have been like really nice and really direct and a really great way for the company to say like, those are not the beliefs we agree with fans of our product. Because I think the worst thing about her was, and she still has it, but that smugness, like she was untouchable. Hours before she was fired publicly, she was posting how untouchable she was on Twitter. Like, this was a woman who had the confidence that she could say all the things she was saying and no consequences would ever come. That should have been addressed. That should have been addressed for the fans of Star Wars who were being berated by her, mocked by her. And I think Lucasfilm did drop the ball. Even though they're firing her, I think they dropped the ball in not acknowledging it.
Well, Lucasfilm has dropped the ball in that area since The Last Jedi. honestly.
It's one thing to remain quiet and also take no action and remain like you can have an amount of like ignorance is bliss objectivity, which is bullshit, but like you can do it as a company, as a corporation. But once you take action, your words must match the action. Yeah, sure. And I don't think the words matched the action in the way that they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Emma,
anything else we want to add on that before we get into the next one? It's a pretty big topic, so I want to be sure
Ryan, did you want to add anything about Gina Corano?
No, she sucks as a person, but the character's cool, so don't get rid of the character.
Shucks as an actor, too.
Yeah, but she's like a stone lady. I don't mind.
It was fine enough for Cara Dune.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know who was having a pretty good week in the Mandalorian cast?
Pedro Pascal?
Pedro Pascal, indeed, as he was cast.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
In The Last of Us HBO adaptation, with Bella Ramsey cast as Ellie. Obviously, he'll play Joel.
Yo, that's the little girl from Game of Thrones, the little Mormont girl. She's so badass and cool. Sparks, how good is The Last of Us?
Oh, The Last of Us is so good.
Yeah.
Maybe the best video game I've ever played.
One of my favorite games of all time, faux show. This is like such good casting. Oh my god. Because like Pedro's the best. And he's, he can do good action shit. He's a good actor. He can do emotions. Imagine Baby Yoda, but it's like a person.
Hours before this,
his face,
yeah,
right? The whole time,
yeah.
Hours before this, people were like, Mahershala Ali is being looked at to play Joel in The Last of Us, and
also,
then this dropped.
Yeah, that's great. What I was gonna say is like I'm glad because Joel's just like some white dude. And like they could have just got like a white guy. I'm glad that like that wasn't a big defining feature because it's not an important feature of Joel. It's just like the people who made the games are mostly white dudes, so they make white characters. Nathan Drake, is how it goes. But yeah, like this is gonna be so sad, you guys. He's gonna be crying so much. Oh my god.
He people were talking about how he might be leaving Mandalorian. Like he was barely there anyway.
I don't imagine The Last of Us will be a 22 episode epic long show either. It'll probably be like a 10 episode miniseries or something.
It was 8. It's going to be 8 episodes. It's going to film. It's going to film before Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, easy peasy. He wears a mask the whole time. He can look whatever he wants. Yeah, this is awesome, man. Like I like when it was first announced, it was like, oh, okay. Like I've heard they've been working on a movie. Like, will this actually happen? And then they got a writer. And then, like, they got, like, a director, and now, like, they got to cast them. Like, holy shit, they're really doing it. Like, it's spicy. Imagine the movie we just watched, but, like, real sad. That's Last of Us.
Like, real sad.
Real sad.
Okay, speaking of video game adaptations, Borderlands is beginning to round out its cast. Cate Blanchett and Kevin Hart will be joined by Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis, Jack Black as Claptrap, and yeah, that's it.
That's crazy. Jamie Lee Curtis is in Borderlands?
She's in Borderlands.
Jack Black's... Okay, Jack Black as Claptrap is pretty good casting. That's just a little robot that's like the comedic relief, but also like fights dudes. That's awesome, dude. Guys, I think this movie is gonna be awesome. I think the cast is great. The guys who's writing The Last of Us wrote this movie. Eli Roth's a great horror director. Like you guys saw that movie, The House with the Cock in its Balls, right?
Yes. Yes.
What's it called?
House with the Clock in the Wall.
That movie's good, right?
Yes, that movie's great.
All right, cool. So this movie's gonna rule.
I think you downloaded the wrong movie.
No, I downloaded the right movie.
What he is referring to subconsciously is that at work, that is how we internally referred to it.
Yeah. Eli Roth's a good director. I think this movie's gonna rule.
Sparks is gone.
I'm good.
All right.
That was fun.
Dungeons and Dragons is rounding out its cast with Michelle Rodriguez and Justice Smith.
Michelle Rodriguez. Justice Smith is the kid from the Pokemon movie, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, man, look at that. I'm all in D&D. Give me more D&D. Chris Pine's the star on this one, right? Mm-hmm. This is the Chris Pine one. Hot diggity dog.
This is the movie.
I'm happy to see Michelle Rodriguez do something major that isn't Fast and Furious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I was gonna say go back to Resident Evil. Yeah.
Okay.
Yo, if she went back to Resident Evil and she was the main character, I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, me neither. Make her the clone of the clone.
Oh my gosh.
Clone of the clone of the clone.
No. I mean, like a whole different, like not
Different
any
new
of
thing.
that stuff, but
I know
just
the fifth movie's wild.
the fifth movie is wild.
Yeah. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was surprise announced.
Yo.
Real quick, do we all like this movie?
Yeah, movie's great.
Okay.
I haven't seen it in a while,
Okay.
but I remember like thinking it was weirdly a banger.
Yeah, I think it still might be a banger.
Yeah.
I remember
It's
liking
pretty
it a lot.
I remember going like, somebody thought, all right, we just gotta get the movie where they're a married couple and they do action shit. Let's do it. And it turned out to be a great time.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
The director was trying to make a sequel TV series back in 2007,
Yeah.
but that didn't happen.
Because streaming services didn't exist.
Right. It was going to be a different cast too. It was going to be Brad Pitt and Angelina.
Yeah.
They actually filmed the pilot. Didn't get picked up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Donald Glover and Phoebe Waller-Bridge have been cast and will co-create and executive produce alongside Francesca Sloan, who was the showrunner for Atlanta and Fargo. They will be showrunner for this, for a new Amazon Prime adaptation of that movie, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay. Now pause. Who knows who Phoebe Waller-Bridge is?
I don't.
I mean, I know the name.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I've talked about 2 shows recently in this past year. One is Killing Eve, and the other is Fleabag. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is the writer and star of Fleabag, and she wrote the first season of Killing Eve, which is the best season. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is fantastic, and this is dope. This is so good, you guys, you don't even know. Go watch Fleabag.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
2 combo like superstar team. This like
I
this-
can't
awesome.
think of a better pair of 2 of like their generation, the best like writers and performers. Like they are both the combo. They are fantastic writers in their own right, and they are fantastic performers. This is a stellar casting move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never thought I would be so excited for a Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing, but yeah, we're gonna revisit that movie soon. I think. I just want to watch it.
Us are downright annoyed.
Why not both?
Porque no las dos.
Yeah.
Let's go to downright annoyed.
What is we could do a commentary. We could quarantine for years and do a commentary.
Oh my god, you skip all the other ones and do Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Sorry, babe, we got to push Super Mario Bros. Again.
Oh no! I will fight you on that one.
All right, anyway.
I wait too long. Damn it.
Whenever quarantine ends, House of Dragons, the new HBO prequel to Game of Thrones, is rounding out its cast with Rhys Ifans, Steve Toussaint,
Sure.
whatever, Ava Best, and Sonia Mizuno.
Cool.
They have character names, but please don't read them.
No, I quickly looked through. That's so many words. It doesn't mean anything. This guy's a soldier. This guy is a king. Like
This is a good
I don't
time
know.
for me to go pee.
I don't know what any of that means. This is not the one. There's another one that's already coming out with Naomi Watts, right? That's the fire. That is this one. Okay. Oh, they're still casted more effers.
Oh
Okay,
wait,
cool.
did the Naomi Watts one get canceled?
No, because the Matt Smith one. There's one that's done. That's like coming out either this year or next year. I think this is a different one.
Isn't that? I think that's this.
Brandon, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I just don't know. There's too many Game of Thrones prequels.
There really are. Come on, like that show's done.
I mean, there's still books, but yeah, I get you.
All right, Sparks, come back because we're talking about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Just read it really slow.
All right, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is a new Disney XD animated series going to be about the titular Marvel character Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Sparks, did you hear that? There's going to be a new Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur Disney XD animated show. I heard it on the Fake Nerd podcast.
Right. Well, they cast it. Diamond White will play Lunella Lafayette, who is the titular Moon Girl. Alfre Woodard will play her grandmother, Mimi.
Oh.
Libe Barrer will play her friend, Casey. Sashir Zamata will play her mom, I think it's supposed to be Adira. Or Adria. Could be that. Jermaine Fowler will play their dad, James Jr. Fred Tatasciore. Devil Dinosaur. I don't think he's going to do much talking.
That's the guy who does a lot of the Hulk and Wolverine and a lot of cartoons.
Sure. Gary Anthony Williams will play the grandfather Pops, and Lawrence Fishburne, who is executive producing the series, will play the Beyonder.
Oh,
Yo,
interesting.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah, weird that like the Beyonder. I mean, I'm sure he might not be like a major character, but Beyonder is in this like the city dinosaur show.
Talk about two characters who I want them to find a weird way to put in the MCU.
Oh my god,
Little girl, devil, dinosaur.
Like the Avengers are doing something in New York, and then a big T-Rex and a little girl shows up. What up, guys?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Moon Girl is the second person to befriend Devil Dinosaur after she opens up a portal through time just after Moon Boy, a caveman, dies. And Devil Dinosaur is shifted to the modern day New York where he meets Moon Girl.
He's just a big T-Rex, you guys. He's just a big T-Rex.
Red T-Rex.
Man,
he's cool. He's cool.
This is so exciting. I'm so pumped for it.
Yeah.
Me too. Here's the thing, guys. Speaking of like obscure characters, I love Devil Dinosaur.
Me too.
We love dinosaurs, so I get it.
Expect book clubs coming.
There are two great books I think we should do for the book club, specifically.
Yeah.
One of them is Planet Hulk from Secret Wars.
Hey, I know I went to go to the bathroom, but I wanted to say one thing about Game of Thrones shows. Do you guys feel like they're at the point where they were at when they were announcing like all the DC comic films, and you're just kind of like, no, I don't believe you.
It's like
when not happening
when they announced like the Transformers writing room and like, yeah, we have 6 movies in development.
Oh my god, yes, it's just like that.
So I'm like, get one, just give me one.
Yeah,
give me one.
And they're like, we got 3 live action shows we're planning, and we're planning at least 1 animated show. And I'm like, please,
just give us another Bumblebee.
Please stop.
Bumblebee first.
Just do one. All right, take this with a grain of salt because the Illuminati is saying that Keanu Reeves is being looked at to play Kraven.
Didn't he already say that's not true?
I didn't see it. If he did,
I
was also sick this week.
But hold on, I'll be honest. I didn't look into it, but I just saw something pass by that said Keanu Reeves debunks that says he passed on Kraven.
Like,
cool.
If we're talking about it, would he be a good Kraven?
I'm gonna look.
Sure. Like, I'm sure he'd be fun. Not my top 25 choices.
No, not ideal.
But I like Keanu as an actor, so like whatever.
We also know that he was like approached by Marvel Studios for something else. We just don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I imagine he said yes to that one.
Yeah.
I still think that he should be one of the elders of the universe, like the Collector or the
like a Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. I guess he didn't do it himself, but it is being reported by multiple places that he
said no.
Said no.
Good. Take that, Illuminati. You're mostly wrong anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Poop.
All right, comic book news. This is the exciting stuff.
Yes.
Because Marvel Comics has announced the new lineup for 3 Guardians of the Galaxy teams.
Boy, talk about like riding a low of Heroes Reborn and then turning into a high.
It's just Al Ewing. Al Ewing is single-handedly saving the Marvel Cosmic Universe with 2 books, Sword and Guardians.
The big deal is that Doctor Doom has joined the Guardians of the Galaxy.
You know, he's primed and ready too.
God, we should have known, because if you read Sword, there's a quote by Doctor Doom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I saw you share that.
Oh, it's so good. And Ewing did an interview. He's like, yeah, like, you know, I have my Space X-Men with Sword, so I want my Space Avengers because I don't have the Avengers book yet.
If this is why Cantwell's Doom series had to stop,
fine.
I accept.
100%. Yeah. Like good hand to good hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I've been reading that run. That run's great. Star-Lord is super powerful right now.
Yeah, they're doing, man, again, just like, I can't praise Al Ewing enough. That dude's he's not only doing wild stuff, like Marvel's allowing him to do like the wildest stuff with that book. I feel like people aren't talking about that Guardians book outside of the Twitter sphere.
Not only that, I don't think Al Ewing is getting the credit he deserves most places because I'm thinking back to Empire. I'm like, that was a great event. That was a fantastic event.
Speaking of, Hulkling and Wiccan are on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, they are, baby. Oh, yeah. Look, like Empire was so stupid good. Like I really enjoyed Ten of Swords, but I gotta tell you, for like wide scale events, it's been a while since I read a Marvel event as good as Empire.
You heard it here first.
Like Al Ewing's kicking butt, guys. I highly recommend reading Empire before this Guardians run. Kicks into this place. If they're bringing in Hulk and Wiccan, you really, really should read Hulkling and Wiccan. You should read Empire. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Crazy Wiccan character we're talking about in multiple places. I never thought I'd say that in my life.
Spoilers.
There's in last week's episode.
Y'all have seen it already. All right. Then finally, guys, did you think 12 X-Men comics was too little?
Yeah.
Me too. Because now here's 13. X-Corps has finally coming.
The Corporation, the book that's been announced, that was kind of announced like a year and a half ago by accident because an artist of another book was going, yeah, I'm working on this other X book. And they're like, oh, yeah, what's that book? Silence for a year and a half. When's that book coming out?
This book is finally coming out in May. We know the team with Teenie Howard, who's currently writing Excalibur, and Alberto Fauché. Fauci? Fauche,
sure. What sounds the coolest?
What?
What sounds the coolest?
Fauche. Yeah, his name's Fauche now.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Look, I'm really stoked because I really like all the X-Men books. Excalibur might be my least favorite personally because Hellions is so good.
True.
And
something has to be the least favorite of all good books, no matter what. Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how she tackles this. Like you said, Brian, it's been teased for years.
Yeah. This, for those who know, X-Corp is the X Corporation. This premise has existed before, but now this is the manufacturing and business side of what's going on in Krakoa. So it's going to be it's Monet and Angel warring Worthington III. They're the business peeps. They got monies and stuff. It's going to be cool. Excited.
Man, guys, I love it. They're doing such a good job with the X-Tiles. I am looking forward to 3 years down the road from now when the rest of Marvel starts to go, maybe we all should talk more. And just actually, maybe we don't need Al Ewing to be on every title for it all to work together.
Yeah. Maybe other people talk to one another every once in a while. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, Wave X is coming now. X-Corps. I'm stoked.
We're almost to the peak of the '90s when there was literally 15 X-Men books out at once. We're almost there.
But were they all good?
I don't know. I wasn't there at the time because I was 3.
For sure.
Probably not. Probably.
I feel like they probably weren't all as crisp and solid together as this.
Yeah,
is
you're right
now.
Yeah, you're right.
So we got Children of the Atom next month. This month. Next month.
I don't believe it. I don't believe that book anymore. Just like New Mutants until I see it.
Children of the Atom is coming next month, then Wave X, and then X-Corp. Moira's coming, right?
I forgot Way of X. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that Moira book. That feels like a big book. So I feel like that's probably.
I just read a piece where they were talking with one of the. Not Hickman, but one of the producers for the X titles.
Yeah.
And the article supplants it in for you because he didn't say this, but he's some titles, they come up and you kind of have to retool things. And he's you never want to say nothing's happening because even as I'm talking to you, I get a different idea of how something might work, but some things just end up not necessarily fitting as we've gone along. And the people who were writing the interview put in parentheses, clearly leaving the gap for the Moira title is what's implied here.
Yeah.
But he didn't say that.
Yeah.
But Moira might be one of those things where maybe as they were conceptualizing it just doesn't fit right now anymore.
The last button on this is I can't believe that we've gotten this long since Hoxpox and Moira still has not we've seen one panel of her. In a year and a half. I'm that is some planning. That is some trusting the audience shit. Good job, guys.
You've had so much other good shit to focus on. It's great.
Yeah.
Which one's the Nightcrawler religion book?
Way
Way
back.
back. Okay. Are you writing it down?
No.
He's got to know what to ask for to put on his pull list, baby.
Okay. This is the... Whatever. You guys want 17 Batman books?
No.
Well, you're getting 17 Batman books.
God damn it.
Legends of the Dark Knight was announced this week.
That book does already exist, doesn't it?
Well, not in its current form.
Oh, okay.
It'll be coming out in digital on April 2nd and then physical May 18th.
Okay, look, hold on real quick. I hate it because this one actually sounds all right.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
But like,
Oh, this is the Zdarsky one?
No, that's
No?
Urban Legends.
Oh, okay.
Legends.
Okay, gotcha.
maybe I'm thinking of Urban Legends. Sorry, never mind.
Right. Well, the first issue will kick off a six chapter weekly, 3-issue monthly. It's written weird. I'm so sorry. Written and illustrated by Derek Robertson, who drew The Boys.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
With colors by Diego Rodriguez and letters by Simon Boland. In Bad Night, Good Night, a new player has arrived on the scene in Gotham City and is selling deadly chemicals to the worst villains in town. Mr. Freeze, the Penguin, and even the Joker. It's up to Batman to stop the villains, track down the supplier, and save Gotham City from not only his most vicious foes, but this new mystery villain.
That sounds like a Batman book, all right.
Totally sounds like a Batman book.
Yeah.
Future stories will be written by Stephanie Phillips, Becky Cloonan, Brandon Thomas, Matthew Rosenberg, Brandon Easton, Shay Grayson, and so on and so forth.
Those are all DC writers right now. It's all right.
All right.
Cool. I mean, I know we just talked about we're about to have 15 X-Men books, but at least those are all unique and they do different things with the characters. This is just another Batman anthology, and the story is Batman fights criminals with gas.
Well, okay. I was thinking about it, why, the X-Men titles have hundreds of characters that can make up different teams and different titles. You're constantly getting a variety. Batman, it's one dude dressed like as a bat.
Word.
How many titles does this guy need?
I remember in the New 52, there were 5 Batman titles. There's this is the main Batman book, Scott Snyder. Then you got Detective
Comics.
Yeah, and then you got Batman the Dark Knight, which is this is more supernatural stuff. It's how many different at this point, I feel DC should change their name to BC Comics.
No, yeah, I'm not too mad at having 5 Bat books. You have your supernatural aspect, you have the detective, you have your main, that's cool. But literally, we're pushing a point where a lot of these books are the same. There's 5 anthology Batman books out at once right now.
And here's
every time that they come up with an Elseworld story to do, it's there are 5 related to Batman and 1 or 2 related to somebody else.
Word.
Yeah. Here's why the 17 Batman titles tick me off. Because DC also announced they're releasing DC Festival of Heroes, the Asian Superhero Celebration.
Oh, man.
Which is a $9.99 one-shot that has all of their Asian superheroes.
I mean, the intent's good, right? Is it? I mean...
Why give them ongoings? Give them miniseries.
No, yeah. I don't know.
Why is... I don't know if the intent is good. I mean, maybe, I guess at its core, it's diversity.
But that sheds a light on your lack of diversity. That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Well,
because what it's doing is that they're yo, this one's for all my Asian homies out there.
Oh, yeah.
Get this one. Here's
your one-a-year comic.
This one's got... Exactly. This one's got all your Asian characters.
Yeah.
All those characters we decided were too minor to bring up again until now.
Did you... Not to bring up a different company or anything, but Star Wars posted something honoring Black History Month, and they had a picture of John Boyega, and literally every comment was, "Oh, you mean the character you sidelined it in your franchise?" And I was "Oh, you guys messed up on this one."
Should have gone with Lando.
Yeah, I was it's just it's a bad week for that kind of shit.
Well, okay, so Ram V will write a story centered on Catwoman's protege Shoes.
Okay, sure, cool.
Mariko Tamaki.
Okay.
Will write a Cassandra Cain story, and she's in her Batgirl costume. That's kind of cool.
All right.
Jean Luen Yang will write an original story with Bernard Chang. We don't know with who, though.
Mm-hmm.
Min Lee and Trung Lee Win will write a story about Tae Pham, who is the Green Lantern from Green Lantern Legacy, the YA one-shot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, cool. Woo-hoo.
I mean, that's like a really that's truly a stellar creative team.
It is.
It does just feel like, yeah, like let's give them a bone.
So me looking back now, having read like Superman Smashes the Klan and knowing who Jean Louis Yang is, I'm looking back at his new Superman, and I'm re-angered because I liked that book fine, but what I hated is that the framing of the DC universe at the time told me, by the way, this doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah,
like all the ways that they went about it, they're like, this doesn't really matter though. Like, you know, this is cool, but like you don't need to care about this. And I'm like,
didn't read it.
That's what's so upsetting about it, is that's always the attitude, is that it's like, yeah, we'll do this thing, and that one ran for like 3 trades, I think, and then was canceled, and it's like the whole time you get the vibe that like they don't care.
Yeah,
like they're letting them do this, but they don't care.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate it, especially because that was a moment where they were like doing a whole lot of continuity heavy stuff across the board, and they were like, but not that one. Like, don't worry about it. The continuity don't matter over there.
That one's in China.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's like the Chinese Superman. And
yes,
like, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought about that because I'm pretty sure he's at least in the image for this. I don't know if they're focusing on
the Superman one. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. And
that's good. Okay.
And it's like, this is not the way to do this.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about it all the time how Marvel puts out these random books that may or may not do well. Shang-Chi, Taskmaster, Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, and they put out these books. If they do well, they go on longer. And if they don't, well, we put them out there anyway.
Shang-Chi, and it's of course because of movies coming out, but Shang-Chi had a miniseries that I read and I stopped reading, and now has another new miniseries when that one ended to try to capitalize on this on the hype of the movie. Like, Marvel's always good about that. Whether the books are good or not, they have a book out for their characters, like small or big. Like, that's something they're always been good at.
It's just someone posted on Twitter about how, like, you look at their diversity characters at DC, and Green Lantern is being written by one of the most reprehensible people in the world, apparently. This dude has like this guy's writing the Jon Stewart book, and this guy constantly talks shit about just all these things. And then you have this, which is just a one shot, which is like, here you go. And it sucks that we're not getting essentially good representation from DC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and like, I think the more troublesome thing about it is I'd be like, if literally any of these characters had an ongoing before or coming out of this, I would feel differently. But the fact that it's just like, don't forget, these guys are around. Like, again, it's just that vibe of like, yo, this one's for you, and just this one.
Yeah.
Just this one.
Yeah. Don't ask us for another year.
It reminds me of when we were talking about Future State a little while back, and it was the first one of the new Batman, and it's the middle story. And who's that? Forgetting the name.
Brandon Thomas?
Nope. The character. The character that
Grifter?
No. Thank you, Katana.
Oh, Katana. Cool. Yeah.
I was just blanking.
Right.
I was thinking of every other character. Yes.
Yeah.
So Katana had a fantastic story there, and I'm like, I would read a 6-issue series of this. I would read a 6-issue series of that writing of that character, or I would read an ongoing if they really wanted to. I'm like, I'm enjoying this. The art style's cool. This feels engaged. It's just that.
Yeah.
It's just that. That's all that you. I don't know.
I'm gonna skip one of these to talk about because it's related. But Milestone.
Hey.
Milestone had a similar one shot in this week's solicitations, which is like, here's the Milestone one shot. Go read the rest digitally.
Oh yeah.
Why aren't the Milestone characters getting physical copies?
Right. I agree, but at least Milestone has that like sense of, here's your taste because all that stuff is there.
Yeah.
Go get it. Go get it.
I mean, sure, it's a little better, yeah.
Like, again, that's kind of the thing I was saying is like, you know, if this one shot had an ongoing for at least one of those characters that was spilling out of it, like it was to kick that off, I'd be like, great, not a problem, fantastic.
Well, the news about Milestone is that they've announced that starting in April, they're going to release a 6-issue miniseries of Static Shock, of Icon and Rocket, another 6-issue miniseries, and one of Hardware.
Cool.
All written by At least it's implied it's all written by Reginald Hudlin, who's currently kind of the showrunner for Milestone.
I remember we talked about that like whenever the DC fandom thing was, and I forgot about it. So it's cool that they're still going through with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would like them to be physical though. Milestone has a long history.
Yeah.
All right. The good news about the DC solicits is that we found out about Chip Zdarsky's new Justice League.
Oh, this is the book that I read that sounded cool. Okay.
Yeah, Justice League Last Ride will be written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Miguel Mendonça?
Mendoza? I don't know.
You know what? I could have misspelled it. Yeah.
I don't know.
This will be a 16 digital series with 8 print issues eventually. April 14th for the digital, May 11th for the physical. Once the most powerful group in the world, the Justice League was destroyed by tragedy and time, disbanding under a veil of mistrust and anger. Now, on the eve of the universe's greatest murder trial, the League must come together one last time. But can Superman and Batman bury the past before the cosmos' greatest villains bury them? Cool.
Man, I'll read Zdarsky.
Yeah, I like murder trial stuff, and I like getting the band back together. I also like Justice League, so it's putting all those things together and you whipping it up with a Chip Zdarsky sandwich. I'm all about it.
Yo, man, I like Harvey Birdman, attorney at law.
Yeah, Birdman. Also, it's like a digital thing, so it's probably going to be like its own, like, you know, not Elseworlds, the new Elseworlds, but it's going to be its own like alternate universe thing. So much like a Tom Taylor, he can do just whatever the hell he wants and create just a compelling story.
Kill Batman.
Just do it, sure.
All right. Tom Taylor is one of the few people who had the balls to kill Batman.
In an alternate universe.
No, deceased. Whatever. Maybe he'll kill him in Nightwing.
No way.
Okay. A lot of animation news. This was a big week for animation.
Ooh.
Dan Harmon came out and said that he is developing a new animated series set in ancient Greece about a flawed family of humans, gods, and monsters that tries to run one of the world's first cities without killing each other.
I really love the idea of it. I really, really don't want it to look anything like Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Well, what about Bob's Burgers? Because Bento Box, which is Fox's animation studios that works on Bob's Burgers, is working on this.
Yeah, truly, it's not Rick and Morty's fault, but too many other shows have tried to ape their style.
Yeah.
I don't need another one of those.
Yeah.
Visually, I don't need another one of those.
I will say, adult animation, whether it's all Rick and Morty's fault, is kind of a lot of them kind of look in a similar way, you know, kind of like elongated, like humanoid, kind of like you know, comedy. That's a lot. Big eyes, yeah. So like, if it looks like that, I wouldn't be totally shocked, to be honest. As much as I also don't want that, but the fact that Dan Harmon is working on another show, like that dude truly is like a creative. Like I think that dude's like a creative genius. That dude's super funny and super demented, and like Community rules, Rick and Morty rules. Like I'm glad that dude's still making other stuff. And like ancient Greece, baby, we're all about it. Like monsters making dick jokes, I'm all about it.
Who doesn't love it?
Speaking of Bento Box, Clue. Fox is going to develop a Clue animated series with Bento Box.
No creative stuff?
No creative team as of yet.
See, I would normally be against it, but the Clue movie rips. That movie is so funny.
Amazing.
So like, I'm not against it. Like,
hey man, somebody's making an Uno movie, so you know anything.
You're right, Little Yachty.
Anything can happen.
About the Uno movie.
I'm sorry, what was it Brandon called him?
Little Yachty.
Yeah, that's his Dungeons and Dragons name.
God, I'm an idiot.
It was cool. Like, if it could be like a funny whodunit, like whatever, sure.
Yeah. HBO Max also announced a slew of new animated series coming to their streaming service, such as Cover, which is an adaptation of the Brian Michael Bendis, David Mack comic book about a comic book writer working at the CIA.
Cool.
Because apparently that's the thing that like the CIA asks comic book writers to like help them with things.
I love it.
Brian Michael Bendis will write the series and David Mack will direct the series, which I thought was cool.
Did you guys? There was a Sony produced TV show called Powers based off his comic book. Did you guys watch that? Because I did.
I watched the season.
I watched the first season.
I did not get to.
I thought
I still want to.
Fine.
It's all right.
Yeah, it was worth watching it once. And that's it.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was really low budget.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of hurt it a bit, but like it was cool. It was cool.
Well, this one's going to be animated by Rooster Teeth Studios. So.
Also, it's gonna look like a Ruby.
Ruby.
Girl, I can't do that.
Transformers, War for Cybertron.
Oh,
They did that too.
cool.
You know, that's terrible.
No, it's fine.
It's better than
Godzilla.
Yeah.
That big
Knights of
ass.
Sidonia.
Yeah. All right. Wait, I have that book actually. Future Book Club, probably.
Ooh.
They also announced Velma, a new 10-episode adult animated series coming from Mindy Kaling, who will also voice the titular character. This is going to be a prequel series that will unmask the complex and colorful past of the underappreciated brains of the Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. gang, Velma Dinkley.
This is so weird.
Did you say adult?
Yeah.
Animated?
Yes, it's adult.
Adult.
About a prequel of Velma, so she's a child.
I didn't think about that, but yes.
No, I know. That's the whole thing that's kind of thrown me is I'm like, I don't like, there's no world where I think about this as like the origin of Velma, because I'm like, you're saying it's an adult animated series and there's just no version of Scooby-Doo where I picture her post something like that. I'm all about Mindy Kaling wanting to do her own take on Velma. I'm like, that's fine with me. Honestly, anything quality Scooby-Doo product you want to make at this point, I don't care.
It's just weird to make it like again like a Rick and Morty, like making it rated R, like an adult animated
I think
Family Guy.
I think they're gonna decide to make it like
PG-13.
Well, no, it's gonna be adult, but I think that it's gonna be like
Her parents.
they don't get together till after college.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Because that's a mentality I can see them going with, and like that being fine, especially if you're going to modernize Scooby-Doo a little.
It's so weird because the current continuity of Scooby-Doo movies try to make it very clear that they're still teenagers, even though you don't buy it.
Yeah. I mean, well, Be Cool Scooby-Doo was that they've been doing it since high school, but they were like post-college age while Be Cool Scooby-Doo was happening. Because that's directly referenced with Shaggy's whole thing about how he thought that they were a band that got started in high school, and then he was just always confused why they never played any gigs.
They never practiced.
Which is still my favorite interpretation of what Shaggy thinks they do. He's like, I thought we just always got distracted on our way to the gig.
Look, it'll be fine. Weird. Make it a prequel. All right.
Again, like, I'm happy for anything quality content about Scooby-Doo. And Mindy Kaling, I think, will have a cool take on Velma. So I'm all about it.
Yeah. Clone High, which we knew was coming, they made the announcement that has been renewed for a second season. So we're getting 2 seasons of Clone High right away. This is, of course, the Lord and Miller reimagining of their old MTV show.
I think this is really cool. If you guys don't know the premise of Clone High, it's a high school full of clone like celebrities, historical people. Like you got like an Abe Lincoln and Einstein.
Yeah, like one of the aren't they the main characters are Lincoln and Einstein, and then there's everyone else. Yeah.
And Lord and Miller, like those guys are like so funny. They did the Lego Movie. They did the 21 Jump Street franchise. Like I love those guys so much. They're hella wacky. Love it.
And they also announced Fired on Mars from Nate Sherman and Nick Vokey. An existential workplace comedy set on the Martian campus of a modern tech company. Pete Davidson has been cast in this.
I thought you said Fired Up Mars.
No.
And I'm like, oh my God, is this a sequel 300 years in the future?
To Fired Up.
Fired Up with
so
Martians?
The Jason X of the Fired Up franchise.
Hell yeah.
Baby.
And then
Low Gravity.
And we'll talk about it a little later, but Close Enough was renewed for a 3rd season.
Woot. Love that show.
Was the thing we're going to talk about the 2nd season?
Yeah. So as they released the trailer for season 2, which is coming out later this month, they also announced that they are starting production on season 3.
They must love it.
And the creator from the
Regular show?
BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
He's coming over to
shit.
be one of the other head writer for Close Enough.
Ooh, I'm about to watch that now, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The CW has ordered pilots for the Powerpuff Girls series and Naomi, and they are not going to move forward with the Wonder Girl Yara Flora show.
I cannot believe they passed on that, but Naomi.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I did see Ava DuVernay, because I follow her on Twitter, make like a big post about like how I'm really excited to bring this character to the screen. Like she's a really new character, and I just have no experience with her. So like, I have no say in that. It's just weird that like, but I mean, at the same time, like Yara Flora is literally a character that was like came out like a month ago. So like, I can't get mad that character's not getting off the ground. Like Naomi's been here.
But they have just as many stories going into this.
I think from my standpoint, I'm just surprised that they're losing like two big CW shows by the end of this year, with probably Flash on its way out next year. They didn't want to bring in Yara Flor to keep that gravy train going is a little surprising.
Maybe just the pitch wasn't good enough and they'll bring her in something else.
I suppose so. Like I wouldn't want it to be a bad show, so if they didn't have faith in it, then fine. But like still.
Get ready for your angsty Powerpuff Girls, yo.
If this is good, it might be cool.
I'm excited for that premise. People on the internet aren't. I am.
We'll see. I have no idea how to feel about it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right. This is really just for me and all people who like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but it will be ending with the 8th season with final 10 episodes coming probably later this year.
I'm very, very far behind, but like that show should have been dead. So like the fact that we got like another 2 more seasons, like
4.
We got 4. Jesus, good job, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, that's great. That's
is that
amazing.
show still on Hulu or is it only on Peacock now?
It's on Hulu.
Yes. I was watching the first season and I stopped. I need to get back to it. I love those episodes I watched.
Well, you got 6 more seasons to get through.
Excellent.
I love the series. One of the things that I really like about Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, this is going to relate, I swear, is that they allow Rapunzel and Flynn to be a couple. And that's something you don't see a lot of the time in television. And Brooklyn Nine-Nine was one of those places where you just saw characters just be a couple. And the drama isn't that they're getting broken up this week. The drama is... I
see what you're saying, because I was going to say, I'm like, television is like built around coupling. Like, what are you talking about?
No, but like they normally break them up.
Now I understand.
Yeah, because it was a long, tried and true trope. Break up a couple, bring in a third, whatever. Like throw all these things at the couple, and that's the drama. But Parks and Rec kind of like sea changed that and been like, no, what if the drama came existentially and they had to tackle it as couples?
Buddy, I get it. Like story of my life, yours too, right? Bring in a third. We've been there.
Oh my!
Face Off.
Gonna take his face off.
No comment. Face Off is coming. Adam Wingard is going to be developing a new Face Off movie, and this is a sequel, not a remake.
The technology's only gotten better. That's why. Adam Wingard is director of
Godzilla vs. Kong.
Godzilla slaps the shit out of King Kong. So,
we'll see.
We'll see. Sure, like that guy's made good movies before. So
if I like Godzilla vs. Kong, I'll give him a pass on Death Note.
Yeah. Because he also did don't stop. Nope, don't. But a good spooky movie. That's a good.
What movie did he do before?
Pulling it up.
You're looking up. It's a don't starve, don't drive, don't stop. It's the house invasion movie where it's like got a twist.
House with the Clock and the Small. No, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm really happy I said that.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, You're Next.
You're Next. Thank you. You're Next.
He also did The Guest.
You're Next and The Guest like make up for how bad Death Note.
You're Next and The Guest are two of my favorites.
For real, like
crazy. And honestly, he did The Blair Witch in 2016, which I didn't think was bad. I thought it was pretty good.
True. So he's more good than bad.
So honestly, Death Note's his big miss, and frankly, I'd blame that more on the script than
I think Face Off is an extraordinary movie. I think it's really funny unintentionally, but also it's a really good action drama movie.
Yeah, I blame Death Note for being bad entirely on the script, and he didn't write it. Yeah. So.
I'll watch another Face Off, and that means you have to get Nick Cage. They're making a sequel for a reason. You would just reboot it unless you're bringing in Nick Cage or John Travolta. You bring back John Archer, and you bring back the evil guy. I forget his name.
You're going to bring back John Travolta? He's gone full Scientology.
Tom Cruise is still making movies?
Yeah, but Tom Cruise crazy. Oh, my God.
Wow!
All right.
John Travolta quit Scientology.
Yeah. What?
Wow, no. Sandy, Xenu.
There's so many good suggestions for the Face Off cast too.
You can do anybody.
Margot Robbie.
There's like I want it to be ladies, but I've thought of a lot of good male pairings.
Yeah.
Like years before this.
There's like
This
some
came around. There's
casting director with a wall of literally 100 actors.
Yeah, that's
and like
just
side by side is like
who's the yeah.
looks good. Yeah.
But like you really want to make everybody happy. The answer is obvious. It's John Krasinski and Randall Park.
Oh god.
Yeah. I've seen
All right.
so many people memes of the episode of WandaVision where like, man, good on John Krasinski for getting this role.
Or the opposite of like people want John Krasinski as to play Reed Richards. He's already casted in the show, you guys.
He's already woo.
It's good stuff.
All right. Speaking of old 90s action movies, True Lies. James Cameron's True Lies TV series has finally been picked up.
Oh, yeah.
CBS has ordered the True Lies pilot. So if they like it, it'll go to series. Matt Nix, should it go to series, will write the series.
Matt Nix is good.
Yeah, we
Matt
like
Nix is
Burn
real
Notice.
good. Ooh.
We like The Gifted season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Burn Notice's tone would work really well for True Lies.
There's been a lot of Polaris love from that show lately, and I'm really about it.
Yes, but also in the
for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons, but in a good way, because like.
But I'm like you all right. Like
she's the
she
best
was
part.
real good.
She's the best part of that show, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I recently watched the movie. I loved it. James Cameron and Mick G will produce the series.
Mick G.
Cool. Would you guys believe me if I were to tell you that there was actually no remake, like true remake of The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
I believe it.
I've seen the sequel
There's one coming.
Prequel.
and the prequel. Actually, thanks, Sam Raimi. You gross, no way.
I've seen, Wicked and Oz the Great and Powerful. I saw that. Bad. Okay, Nicole Castle, who was a Watchmen person. The TV show Watchmen has been hired to direct a new adaptation of the book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Because it's in public domain. And they also have free reign, and this is the weird part. They have free reign to use the original movie as a template, so they can use like the Ruby slippers because they're not Ruby in the book from the original movie, even though that movie's owned by Warner Brothers.
Oh,
I'm really fascinated with. I know Megan would be too because she's a huge Oz book fan.
She's an Oz head.
She loves the movies, but like it's a big thing for her. She loves Oz.
Remember when the Wicked Witch of the West was Regina's mother? Sister.
That's another Once Upon a Time reference. I guess we're going to talk about that show someday.
I'm scared to finish it.
Yeah,
You should be.
I don't think I could.
No, I was side tangent. I was the one that show's biggest defenders. I freaking love that show from season 1. Even I was all the way to season 4, and then it's just like I just stopped watching it.
Baby, I was right there with you, and then nope. Anyway, I think there's a lot of interesting room to explore and do a Wizard of Oz film that is actually more true to the books.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I think it's a really nice thing where they're saying like they have free reign to pick things from the movies, but they don't have to. And in some cases, maybe it's better that they don't. If they really do adhere a lot more towards the books, it will be a different movie, which is nice. It won't feel like a 1-to-1, which I don't think you can. I don't think it's a good idea to 1-to-1 remake Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like doing a Jurassic Park readaptation.
Yes, if you were to, it's pretty much that different. For those of you that are familiar with the Jurassic Park book, it's pretty much that different. If they were to faithfully recreate the Jurassic Park book, it would be very different from the Steven Spielberg film, and that's pretty much the situation we're talking about.
That
here.
I can bet that the after the next set of Jurassic World movies, there's going to be a nice 5-10 year hold, and then HBO will make some sexy ass limited HBO series Jurassic Park. That's just like the book that's the book.
With Sam Neill coming back to play John Hammond.
No, you gotta recast. No sexy hats. I'm sorry, not allowed.
Sam Neill could be a good John Hammond nowadays, though.
No, we can't. This is an American Horror Story. We're not recasting people.
I mean, he could be, but so could other people.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Captain Marvel 2 I buried the lead on that. Captain Marvel 2 has found its villain. Marvel sequel to the Carol Danvers movie. Zoe Ashton has been cast as the villain in Captain Marvel. We don't know who, though.
It could be a billion people.
A lot of people think she's going to be the Skrull Queen.
Yes,
because they think that character will be altered to fit the MCU.
Yeah, I did see a lot of that. Yeah, there's it depends on like if they're leaning into that Skrull thing or it's just one of Captain Marvel's villains. Like or again, it's too early to know. But like it would be dope if we got that Skrull Queen stuff. Like we read Secret Invasion. Like what was it, like last year, 6 years ago? I don't know how long this pandemic's gone on.
And she was in Empire.
And she came back in Empire. Spoilers. That's amazing. I forgot. She was dead for like a decade. That's awesome.
She was the secret main antagonist.
You're right. That's awesome.
Of Empire.
That's actually she's a Skrull Queen. There you go. Bing bong.
I mean, if they want to tie things in as tight as we're seeing from WandaVision towards Doctor Strange,
this would be the
Secret Invasion to Captain Marvel 2. Yeah, baby.
100%.
You got the Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, Secret Invasion train that's got its own triangle going on.
Spicy. Look at all these Marvel triangles.
Marvel's so good. All right, trailers.
Oh my God, we're here.
Trailer Park.
Trailer Park.
Close Enough Season 2.
Yo.
This looks really funny.
I mean, Close Enough is great. Ben and I both love that season. This looks like more of great.
It looks more like Close Enough. I want more Close Enough. I was only bummed that we got a tiny little bit of the. I mean, I'm glad we got it at all, but it was like what, 6 episodes?
I was definitely nervous because that first season was made a long time ago.
Yeah.
For TBS originally, and Warner was just sitting on it, and then they're like, "All right, we're dropping this for HBO Max because we need content on HBO Max." And I'm like, I was really nervous it was going to be a one and done. And it was like, yeah, that's great. We finally got to see that show that was like had a trailer 3-4 years ago.
Is the first season as like surreal and weird as this trailer for the second season? Okay,
yes.
I might watch this soon. I like this trailer a lot.
So if you remember Regular Show, if you ever watched Regular Show, you remember that it'd be like they'd start with the simple premise of like rock paper scissors, and then they took it too far and they upset the rock paper scissors gods who would break open the cosmic reality and take them to a different space, and they'd have to fight in the gladiator gauntlet of rock paper scissors or something.
I'm into this. Yeah.
So it's that same concept, but then matured up
Cool.
to match the age range of what they're doing, but it's that same kind of stuff where they're doing a simplistic thing. Oh no, they have upset the entities behind this simple thing. Things get crazy.
I love it. I'm gonna watch that soon.
You're like, you go to this club, and if you're over 30, then you get sacrificed. You become a VIP, a very irrelevant person.
I mean, if you're at a club, I mean, it's true. It's sad.
Yeah,
it's true.
it's based on Logan's play, but the guy who runs it is pushing 50.
Logan's Run.
Logan's Run. Thank you. Why did I say Logan's play?
Did you guys catch Logan's play last night?
Shut up.
My buddy Logan's got a new play.
It's definitely a regular show for adults. Fanny and I love it. We constantly talk about the scene in that episode too. The scene where Candace and JG Quintel's character, I forgot his name, they give their kid off to babysit, and they're like, "We have a kid-free night. We could do errands," and then turn down for what starts playing, and they're all like sexy dancing, but they're all like doing their taxes, going shopping. We lost our shit, and it's funny enough actually dancing right in front of me right now.
Hey man, I being an adult and like going shopping, there is a nice thing about going shopping. Like I get it. I get it now that I'm here.
I cannot tell you how accomplished I feel that when I wake up, it's like, oh, I gotta do errands. And then I get those errands done. It's like, oh, I did something good. I'm gonna reward myself with going to the video game store or Barnes & Noble. I deserve it.
An entire pint of ice cream.
All right. Oh, I watched the map of Tiny Little Things. I'm sorry. I forgot to bring that up.
Time loop trope remains unbroken.
Yeah, it's great.
Tried and true.
Damn.
Always works.
That's insane.
That's Catherine Newton in that one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ant-Man? Catherine Newton?
Yep.
Wow.
Freaky.
Wow. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Really great. I really liked it. I highly recommend. Black Myth Wukong. We got a new gameplay trailer for this game.
Oh, this looks like a next-gen video game.
This is probably my most anticipated video game right now.
Give them the bad news. When's it come out?
2023.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah. This looks sick. This looks like it's like part Dark Souls, part like big open world RPG. Like it just.
I'm so glad after that concept trailer that they've gone small scale, because I'm like, yo, if it's going to be a long wait, like, don't show me the god shit anymore.
Yeah.
I know you're going to do it, but don't show it to me yet. I want to save it, because if this game progresses the way I think it will, based on that concept trailer, like, you're going to do so much. Like, you're going from Dragon Ball to Battle of Gods, baby. For Dragon Ball comparison, you're doing the whole gamut, and I'm like, that's nuts.
Big
You're going
stone
from
man coming alive.
you're going from like fight this rat king to fight the cosmic entity of the universe, and I'm like, yo, I'm there.
Yeah.
I am there.
I'm very excited for this, but you know what? I got Ratchet and Clank and God of War to satiate me until then.
Do you? Because you don't have a PS5 yet.
It's coming as soon as that check clears.
Bing bong.
And you can get one.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, bud.
Oh man, I was so upset. I watched the trailer for Ratchet and Clank ripped apart twice to be like, wait, is it coming with PS4? No, shit.
Yeah. God of War probably is though, so there you go.
Yeah, but Ratchet and Clank, to its credit, is like the big game they have right now that looks like it's actually utilizing the PS5 engine in a major way.
That's coming out.
So it has to be PS5.
sometime soon. Yeah.
Warhammer 3 Total War.
Total War, Warhammer 3. This is a for me, guys. So the Total War franchise, they have been making games for 20 years. There's Total War Attila, there's Total War Rome, Total War the Viking Saga. You know, every type of history, big epic battles. The Total War franchise is my favorite strategy franchise because most strategy franchises focus on one thing. It's either the big scale battles where you have, hundreds of armies and you're, moving units to be more tactical, or it's the city building aspects where, you have to you have to increase taxes so you get more money, or you have to increase barracks so your place is better defended. The Total War franchise is both of those in one. So you're maintaining the city aspects while also maintaining the battles that are happening across the world. So these games last for hundreds of hours at times, like these giant world battles. The Total War franchise brings in giant monsters and orcs and vampires and mummy monsters and all that stuff. So it just adds all that elements and it makes it even more fun. Total War 3 is adding the Chaos Gods. You see these big slurpy monsters. I don't know how they're being added to the game, but basically they're the last factions left untold. Like these games have like 30 factions at this point because Total War 1 and Total War 2 combined together, so all the games play together on one giant map. So we're going to be adding more of that stuff. More fun, baby. It was just a cool Magic battle. That's all.
Well, how does this relate to the Warhammer franchise?
Because this is oh, Brandon, yeah, there's Warhammer and there's Warhammer 40K. There are two separate universes. There's a fantasy and there's a sci-fi.
No, I know, but how does this Total War franchise now incorporate Warhammer?
Oh, Total War Warhammer is their Warhammer game. It's called Total War is the franchise. They're using Warhammer. So it'd be like Total War Rome.
So, sorry, I can clear this up.
Sorry.
Total War is a series of RTS games that is using Warhammer for this game.
Yes.
They do other kinds of things.
No, I know, but I want to know what elements from Warhammer are they using in Total War Warhammer 3?
Oh, the factions, like you play as ogres and trolls instead of men from England in the 9th century. You play as a vampire counts, or you play as elves who ride dragons, or
it's a fully Warhammered game.
Yeah, it's a fully like you saw a wizard man fight a giant demon man. It's that, but 500 people on a screen, and you're tactically doing stuff. It's a computer only game. Very few console games come out like this. Because I
was going to ask if Total War and Warhammer were one and the same or they're different, but
no, they're different.
They're different.
No different. Like Warhammer's its own thing. Total War, again, the last Total War game I played was Total War 3 Kingdoms, which is about Chinese dynasties in like the 9th century.
Gotcha.
It's just a template. Like Call of Duty goes to World War II, it also goes to World War I and goes to the future. Bing bong.
Gotcha.
All right, 6 Days in Fallujah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, tell them.
Okay, so this game was announced in 2008. There was the Battle of Fallujah is a real life event with some really serious ramifications on both sides. And we learn more and more about it as time goes on. It's a really important event in U.S. history, specifically during the war in Iraq and that time. In 2008, they wanted to make a video game detailing the events of this real battle, and the game got canceled. And then they brought it back 12 years later for some reason. The people behind Halo, Bungie, ex-Bungie people who made Halo and Destiny have created their own company, Highwire Studios, to rejuvenate this politically war game that was canceled over a decade ago. So it's really gross and messy. But when you watch the trailer for it, it seems like they're treating it with a lot of respect. It's just really weird. It's really weird.
Now, it at least with the soldiers, it's based off their interviews. You said they also interviewed people on the other side?
Yes, that's what they're claiming. They interviewed, now that enough time has passed, like they were able to get in closer with people, maybe not directly in with like the terrorist groups, but like people who lived in Fallujah at the time. So like they said they interviewed over 100 people on both sides to like get a full descriptive, like scenario. But like, I just don't see how something that intense and that political can be turned into a video game.
Right, like it's very weird, the concept of you being aware of these real stories and playing a game holding a gun.
If you watch the trailer, you're playing as the people that they're interviewing. Mm-hmm. You're playing as real soldiers. And that just adds another wrinkle of like almost kind of grossness, because like you're going to be killing people. And maybe that's what they want you to feel. They want you to feel sad and stuff like that. But I'm like, I kind of play Call of Duty to like be a hero and stuff. Like, I don't know if people want to play this type of game. It seems really bold and risky, but also like,
and also it's just unclear what the because there's no objectivity possible. Like, what is the political message behind it? What are you trying to say with doing this way?
Yeah.
Because you could just have a documentary about Fallujah, but you're not doing that. You're making it a video game. You have to have a reason, and what is the reason going to be?
And my last staple on this will be in one of the Call of Duty games, there's a really poignant moment of like where you're at a funeral, like a military funeral, and you have like, all the guards and they're doing their 21 gun salute, and you go up to the casket, and then it says, press F to pay respects. And it's just like a moment of like, oh my God, video games are so stupid. Oh my God. And it takes you out of this moment that's supposed to be serious, but it's like, press F to pay respects. And it's like a meme on the internet. And I'm like, this feels like this is going to be that game where it's like trying so hard to be real. And then it's like, press X to save this man's life. And I'm like, it's a video game still. Like, there's a certain disconnect when you get real. And I just don't know if we need this. But it's getting made. It's weird. I think it's weird.
A Writer's Odyssey Ultimate trailer.
Hey guys, you want to hear about the biggest movie China's making?
Sure.
I'm gonna tell you about it. Parallel worlds commingle with initially intriguing Parallel worlds commingle, centered on a desperate father whose search for his missing daughter draws him into a plot to assassinate the author of an online fantasy novel called Odyssey. So he's searching for his daughter both in the real world and in this fantasy world,
because he's
paralleling it.
He's written her into the book.
No. So the dad who's looking for her is trying to assassinate the guy who's writing the story.
Oh, high concept, and I like it. Lots of shit going on in this. I'm into it.
It looks wild.
It looks bonkers. And
very certain shots. I'm like, man, this is China going like, man, we love Endgame.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you what, we love those Avengers movies, guys.
Oh yeah, we do.
And I'm like, yeah, no, I know.
I thought this looked great. I'm really excited for this.
It looked really out there in a cool way.
Big bonkers movie. Yeah.
Almost reminded me of 47 Ronin wanted to be.
Sure.
That also had a good trailer, bad movie.
Yeah. I enjoy how 47 Ronin ended, actually. I thought that was ballsy.
I don't remember.
All right. The Vault.
So there's like movie theater movies and straight to DVD movies. And then there's like this nebulous in between. And this is definitely the nebulous in between.
That's Saban Films. That's their whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This looks like
a good cast not being used to their best.
Yeah, this looks like 0.1% more than just a generic like heist movie.
I feel like
if Bruce Willis was in it, it would take it down a notch.
Yes. But I do feel like this is a movie he would appear in. They were just lucky enough to get a better cast.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the Italian Job that's trying too hard.
The Wisconsin Job.
I also feel like you can be more creative with your title, baby.
The Vault.
Come on, The Vault.
I'm glad to see the Vault. I'm glad to see the actor who played Davos Seaworth from Game of Thrones doing more stuff. because he was one of my favorite characters and actors in that show. And it's like, okay, I don't know what else. I mean, it looks okay. I mean, if it's on a streaming service, I got nothing to watch, I might watch it. But other than that, it's like, all right, it's there. It's a heist movie. I do like heist movies.
I'll just watch Man again.
I mean, I don't think it looks terrible.
No, I'm not.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. It just looks like generic, like fine.
It just looks like I feel like there are literally hundreds of other heist films I haven't seen that I'd probably like better.
Exactly. If I'm gonna watch a heist movie, I'd rather watch one of the better ones I haven't seen. Yeah.
Did you ever see that David Tennant movie that he did with Dean Devlin? He was like the serial killer one.
No, but I wanted to because I thought it looked kind of generic, and then all of a sudden I heard people being like, "Yo, it's not," and I'm like, "What?"
I really liked it.
Yeah,
but I haven't. But I don't know because I heard that I didn't look into like what's up because I didn't want to know anything. I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta just watch that at some point.
Word.
I like that movie. I might watch it again sometime. All right, Happily, another Saban Films movie.
I don't know what's happening in this, and I'm like so into it. Yeah. Like, is this a secret like sci-fi thing? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, because he walks in and is like, "We're gonna make you normal with these injections."
Yeah,
He's like, "I'm gonna beat your head in."
We're like in the depths of WandaVision, so like I'm getting those weird like suburban fake suburban vibes, and I'm like, this is cool, and I like that it's not just like fully revealing what's going on.
Yeah, and it's like sometimes a comedy, and I'm like, this might be bad, but at least I really don't know what's up.
Yeah, and I like Joel McHale a lot, so like I'll check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking, is this a comedy? Is this a horror? Is this what's this do with the briefcase coming?
I think it's gonna be a black comedy, a dark comedy.
It kind of like when they got into the house. So when they got into the house and you saw the room with all the guns, and then all the other like guests showed up, I was like, is this gonna be like a Ready or Not situation where they either the couple has to conform, or everyone else is gonna hunt them down and kill them?
I like the girl, the other girl in this, she was in Santa Clarita Diet, and she had one episode of Mr. Mayor that was very funny.
Ooh, howdy doody.
All right, you ready for it? Dread it, run from it. But Zack Snyder's Justice League is coming all the same.
Hell yeah, it is.
Like how you did Thanos' quote there from Avengers.
The trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League is out. I only have one question. Is this movie in full screen?
No.
Why are all the trailers in full screen?
No, I'm sorry. The answer is yes. Sorry, yes. It is because it's supposed to be IMAX, I think.
But so IMAX is full screen.
I have a theory. I have a theory that some of the footage he wanted to use, for whatever reason, he was only able to get 4:3 copies of it. And then he had to make a decision like, okay, maybe I crop the whole movie to 4:3 and call it an artistic decision, or I lose the scene.
Yeah.
And he decided, I think I'm going to crop the whole movie and call it an artistic decision.
Artie. Let's see. Yeah.
Cut the tops. Do what Dragon Ball Z did.
Ew.
Yeah. Look, what do we think about the trailer all in all, regardless of its weird aspect ratio?
I'm actually very positive on it. It removed from myself from the situation and, my own personal biases. If I was just watching this as a trailer, I think this looks like a pretty cool action movie. I still think like the Joker thing sucks. Like I want to live in a world where like I want to see Ben Affleck's Batman, who I do like. Like I am seeing more of the Ben Affleck that I like from BVS in this trailer than I did in all of Justice League. Mm-hmm. Like those reshoots, like Ben Affleck doesn't give a shit. It feels like. Whereas this, like I see the man's vision coming to an end. It might visually look kind of like the CGI on some of the stuff might look bad, but like at least it's tonally in line with what he wanted to make. I think the trailer has a nice kind of epic tone to it. It's 4 hours is a long movie. It's gonna be a lot of sadness.
I try to think about I try to remove myself from the situation. I have a pretty major bias against Zack Snyder, but if I was a kid and I was and a Justice League movie was going to come out, I think I'd be very disappointed at how not colorful my favorite heroes are.
I mean, it's not for kids. He's been pretty clear. He didn't make it for kids.
It's rated R.
He's been pretty clear.
No, I know, but that's part of the problem. Why does there need to be a Justice League movie that is rated R? From the get-go, you have taken away your target audience.
Yeah, there doesn't need to be. But the thing is,
You
like,
haven't. You haven't, because Zack Snyder's target audience is rated R man babies.
Yeah.
It's hitting exactly his target audience.
You're right, because this can't
It's
be...
not us.
It can't be...
It's them.
It can't be viewed as, like, a film... Like, this is not how the film would look if the film had gone to theaters. Like, no matter what we're saying about it being Zack Snyder's cut, it never would have been a 4-hour movie.
What the hell are we criticizing it for?
I'm not criticizing it.
What do you mean? What?
Well, what are we doing here then? If we're just going to be talking about like, oh, it's the movie. It's the movie. The movie's supposed to be that way. We don't. It's not for us. Let's not talk about it.
No. What I'm saying is that like that you can't think of it. This cut you can't think of as the movie that they would have sent to theaters because it's just not that.
Well, and I'm not talking about it as the cut that would have been sent to theaters. I'm talking about why anybody let this madman make this movie.
Because they let him make BVS, and then he was already making.
No, you're not.
All right. Well, I just think if I was a kid, I saw Flash doing some cool stuff and Wonder Woman doing some cool stuff, and like I saw Granny Goodness for the first time, and I think that looks pretty cool. I like Granny Goodness a lot.
Granny Goodness in the back?
Yeah, I wish she was like a big Ed Asner lady.
A big Bertha.
I wish she was like a big like a yeah. Ed Asner is still the best Granny Goodness of all time. That voice actor. But like, it's still. I'm being positive on it, but like, it's still going to be a Zack Snyder movie that I'm like not really looking forward to seeing. Like, you know,
I think like I talked to Ryan about this before the podcast, but like being as removed as possible. I think like something that just as a person who likes comics and comic book movies, and that's the amount I'm bringing to it. Darkseid looks like a waste.
Yeah, he just looks like a generic
he just looks
villain.
like any generic comic book movie villain, like in the lamest way, like on the level of the Destroyer and Thor.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, that's pretty sucky. I think also like if I am bringing my own like stuff to it, for me, the like most wasted thing in BVS is the nightmare sequence. While visually cool, it lacks entirely any substance or context. And the fact that we'll be revisiting it, I'd have to say I'm like far less than excited.
Yeah.
I find that whole thing. I think the worst part about it is that I highly suspect that it's actually still going to lack real substance because it will lack resolution because this movie will not have an ending.
Yeah.
Because it was still always designed to have a part 2, which is not done.
Yeah. Well, that, as we were talking about this earlier, Sparks, like, Steppenwolf, I still think is going to be the bad guy of this movie. Like, Darkseid is not going to suddenly become the big bad. He's just going to be a much more like bigger presence. But again, like in the first Avengers movie, Thanos isn't the big bad, but he is there, even if it's, you know, in the background and a post-credit scene. But like, Darkseid's going to be there. But like, I think Zack Snyder is amping Darkseid up for the fans, maybe to the detriment, because like, I don't think he's going to be in it that much. I think he's going to be in that flashback scene, maybe at the end, and that's it. And he will be set up for a movie that will never come out.
I think. Go ahead, Ben.
I think Darkseid is only. I mean, yeah, Darkseid should just been like a cameo. I feel that even in the original Justice League with the first one that came out, because when Steppenwolf says for Darkseid, I was thinking, oh, are we gonna get like some sort of Darkseid cameo? Are we? Because we still thought that the DCEU, when that was called it back then, they were gonna bring out more Justice League films. They didn't, and now we're getting the first film just longer with more stuff added to it. I know you guys are saying like, oh, I'm removed from this. It's like I'm watching this like this is just the same movie but longer with more stuff, and I still don't feel that even with the added stuff, it's gonna be any better than the first one we got.
Oh, I'm yeah. This is not me saying that the movie is going to be better. I just think like this is a fine looking trailer. That's where I'm coming at. Yeah,
it does look fine. I mean, I kind of do like Superman in the black suit, but I also agree with Sparks. I like Superman in a bright blue suit, and we're not getting that.
Yeah, but also like at this point, like literally 8 years removed, like I'm over trying to want the original Man of Steel, because guess what? It's literally been 8 years. I'm over trying to get that. We're gonna get that with the next incarnation. Like this is the one we're getting, so it's hard for me to stay mad. Literally 8 years into this, like it's hard for me to care. Like they are throwing this to the fans to shut them up. So like it's just hard for me to get mad at it. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't think like where I land is like, you know, mad or or frustrated or angry about it, but more just like Brandon has a good point of like, you know, why did this version have to be this way? And I think it's credible, especially when you have like shots in this trailer that are the same shots that more or less that you can see in the Whedon Justice League, and you can see where he's pulled all the color out of it that was could have been there.
Yeah.
Shots of Wonder Woman or Flash where it's like, you know, they are saturated out to hell and all these kind of things, and it's like I kind of agree with Brandon in that sense, where it's like I still think it's valid to just sit here and kind of wonder, like, why is this, why does he think this looks better visually, like on a visual component? This is like Snyder's best thing is his structure. I'm not talking about his visual structure, but the color grading, the tonal level of what he thinks these characters should look like. It just baffles me. Also, Cyborg in some of those shots still just looks like so
awful.
bad.
Absolutely,
it's so bad.
This is what happens when you try to rush a 4-hour CGI heavy movie.
This movie's so expensive.
Yeah, like no matter how much money you throw at it, like you're making a bunch of people work from home and during a pandemic to try to make this movie look good. Like,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I mean, it's coming. I know I'm gonna watch it, but this, I mean, I'm done. I'm really just done talking about this damn movie.
The other thing that, like, just on that similar level, like I sit there and I'm like, why does he think this version of Steppenwolf looks better?
Hey man,
like with all the extra
I get
reflective spike.
Hey man,
it's less a like
he's a metal. He's edge lord extreme.
No,
like,
I know it's less like a thing
yeah.
where I sit there and I'm upset, and more a thing where I sit there and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get why.
Listen, he's the kid from Toy Story who used to make all those Sid. He's Sid who grew up and now he gets to make his Batman murder people.
Yeah.
And again, that's not for any of us here, but there is a market, unfortunately, there. And luckily, that's not the main market anymore. It is the side market.
Right.
We are getting a new Batman movie that's more in line with what we want.
I will try my absolute damnedest to go when I do finally sit down and watch this movie, to look at it critically and just not hate it for the sake of hating it.
I'm sure it's still going to be bad. Like this, I'm saying,
sure either. And then I'm not going to lie. If all the Snyder Cut people, which they won't, but if they do, there's that slim chance that they will rise up. Well, not rise up. We'll say that, hey, this is actually a very bad movie. I will just sit back and enjoy the implosion while eating my popcorn.
It's going to happen on all sides. Everyone's going to have every opinion on it.
It's kind of a nonsense comment, but I told Ryan it anyway, and I'll say it now. Like, watching this trailer, generally what I would usually say is that this looks overstuffed as hell. Like, there's way too much going on, but then, you know, it's a 4-hour movie, so it kind of evens out.
Yep.
But even then, I'm kind of going, I don't know. I mean, I know a rough idea of what the bare bones of this is, and I still think this looks a little stuffed, even at 4 hours.
It's like we have a 4-cheese tortellini, but Zack Snyder decided to put 16 more cheeses in there.
No, you can't say that, Ben, because that's exactly what I eat. And Brandon loves cheese too. You got to use a different analogy.
That sounds
Brandon
great.
loves cheese so much that people know when he asks for ketchup, he means cheese.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
All right,
Shit,
shall
that
we
was
move
bad.
on?
Did you have any last thoughts with none of us saying anything about it that you wanted to share, Brandon?
No, I have nothing else to say about the Snyder Cut.
Okay, cool.
Or Zack
No,
Snyder as a person.
Now
All
I'm
right.
gonna choose tortellini. I can't have tortellini because of my diet. Damn.
Let's move into our main topic then. All right, we are here to talk about Love and Monsters, the new Dylan O'Brien movie. Been out for a little while. Now it's on DVD. Check it out. Full spoilers.
Fine.
Full spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about it, bail. The last warning. What do we all think of this one? Ben, you go first.
I had a fun time with this movie. I had a fun time with the adventure. I love the characters, and now that I think about it, I was like, this could be a good Monster Hunter movie. It kind of is. I mean, it's not really a Monster Hunter movie. It's a run away from monsters, and monsters hunt you. But I still had a good time. I really enjoyed it.
Monster Hunter in a different way. Sparks?
Yeah, I loved it. I was really. There were constantly moments where I went, "Oh, really, movie? Oh, this movie? Okay, all right," and like always in positive ways. I'm like, "Dang, movie, you go places I didn't think you go." Good job.
Ryan.
I had a wonderful time. I really like the world. I think the monster design is fantastic. It's a relatively low budget movie while still having really good special effects and knows how to use them really well. I like the characters. When I thought it was going to become generic with a certain plot point, it didn't, and I'm really thankful that it didn't. I don't really think I have too many complaints, but I also don't think I think it's a pretty simple, just a simple, really, really well done monster movie. And the kind of ones like it is like an adventure movie that you don't get a lot of. So I think it's pretty good. Pretty great.
Yeah, I loved it too.
All right.
Yeah, I thought this was a great time. A very inventive, fun kaiju movie. Fun lead. Great characters. Had a great time.
Dylan O'Brien, I know I don't know if he was the Maze Runner kid. Was he the Maze Runner guy? Okay. He got like real hurt making those movies. I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys know that.
He got hurt making one of them.
Yeah, like he was like out for like a year. Like he almost like got killed or something.
He also made he got a start on Teen Wolf, MTV's Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with him. I think he's really charming. I think
really good.
He's like a really good, like almost like a Peter Parker-y type of kid. Like I think he's a good lead.
Yeah.
He almost got Peter Parker this round.
Yeah, he was in the running.
Damn, that would have been all right. I wouldn't have hated that.
Yeah, Dylan O'Brien's good. He's got that same like Adam Brody energy.
Yeah,
when Adam Brody was like doing the OC and stuff.
Very much. Yeah.
Who's the Iron Fist girl?
Jessica Henwick, our current Iron Fist. Which
Hell
is
yeah.
cool.
I don't know if they watched the new season. They don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know that.
That's okay.
I don't know that they ever will,
Yeah.
but it's dope as hell. Hey, I don't care, audience members. If you never watched the Netflix Iron Fist season 2, you should have, because this lady became Iron Fist.
Hell yeah, she's great.
Do we see the dragon? Did they punch the dragon?
I don't think you see the dragon. No. But the daughters of the dragon are there because Misty has her robot arm and she has her cool iron blade. Zoom!
Just show me a dragon.
We see the skeleton in the Defenders.
No. You wanna get me? You show me a dragon.
Show me a dragon.
Tangled showed me a dragon.
What about a giant crab that gets electrocuted a lot?
That's pretty cool.
All right, cool. Then we won. Here we go.
Yeah. They got me. And when the dog disappeared, partway towards the end of the movie, boy, I looked up. I was like, "Does the dog die in Love and Monsters?" No. Okay, good.
I knew he was coming back,
buddy. I was like on the moment that the dog goes on the journey with it. No, the moment when the dog goes with him rather than with Michael Rooker, and is looking, and he's like, "I really think we should go with Michael Rooker." I'm just saying, and I'm like, "Yo, you kill the dog. I'll be so mad."
Yeah.
I mean, okay. When the dog first comes on screen, I go, "Ooh, puppy!" Literally, that's what I said when I was watching this movie.
Yeah,
and I fell in love with Boy.
I don't mind looking up doesthedogdie.com for certain movies. Sometimes I need to.
That's funny.
Speaking of the dog, like I thought going into it, the dog was going to be Michael Rooker's. That's how we were going to meet him.
Me too.
I thought that's what it was. And the fact that it wasn't, the fact that it was just this dog who had an owner and the owner got killed and the dog's just kind of been sad about it. And like he was completely reading that dog's like emotional levels of what was going on with it and about the dress. I was like, yo, good job, movie.
Yeah.
That was really good. And then he's like, yo, man, we're both alone. You want to come? And the dog's like, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I want to come.
Good dog.
The best dog in the world. I want to come. And I'm like,
also, I just love how the dog is able to close the door to the bus. Mm-hmm. And Joel's like, wow, that's really cool.
I love the premise of the movie of like how the kaiju got started.
Yes, it's such a simplistic idea, but really good. Okay, all cold-blooded things get bigger and mutating. And I'm like, wow, extraordinarily simple, but very effective.
Because like it starts with like it's funny because I'm writing a mecha RPG thing, and my thing involves meteors. So I was like, oh, that's funny. They're doing something like they're doing a similar thing, but they did something completely different. Was they destroy the meteor, but all the radiation and all the bad shit that happened from all the bombs and the meteor, it like radiated all the animals on Earth. And I think that's a pretty cool idea. Instead of like just a meteor landing and a bunch of monsters being here, it's like, no, we did this to ourselves. Oopsies.
Well, I thought the opening is very effective with the drawings of seeing how everything happened, and it opens up so many fun questions about this world that doesn't need to be answered in this movie, but like what happened to the whales?
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
what other cold-blooded sea life was enlarged and become like
Well,
sea
whales
monsters?
whales aren't cold blooded.
No, I know, but no longer are the whales the biggest thing in the sea.
Right.
Ooh,
Oh,
we
I
got
Probably
megalodons again.
eaten.
Yeah.
We
I'm
probably.
sure all
Ooh.
eco life is screwed.
Oh, I kind of want to see. Okay, now I kind of wish I saw like a crocodile sort of thing. You imagine the saltwater crocs from Australia getting radiated and turning into like these giant Godzilla-sized monsters.
Well, you saw Rampage anyway.
I actually never did.
Oh well.
I was anticipating a giant snake, and we never really got the giant snake.
Here's the thing: not like immediately, but partway through, I turned to my girlfriend who were watching this, who's seen this, and I say, "Snakes are cold-blooded."
So there's that one shot where he's walking on the bridge next to the water as the water's moving like that, and I'm like, "That's a snake."
Oh yeah.
And I remained like confident that was a snake, and I thought we were gonna see we're gonna see big snake, but that was the most we got.
I would have lost it.
I know.
Oh yeah.
God. I liked the idea that there's not all monsters are like quote unquote evil. Like there are like kind monsters.
Oh, the snail.
With the snail. And then with the crab, and I thought that was a really cool like callback.
I did too. This movie did its callbacks well. I really was glad they introduced that because it made it like clear that, hey, by the way, they're animals.
Yeah.
They are just animals.
Yeah.
I know they're like monstrously big and everything, but like they're just doing what animals do, what those animals do, and not every crab is gonna eat something like that. Not every snail is gonna attack you. Like that's not how it's gonna be.
What was the first monster that he encountered? Because like it wasn't CGI.
I thought it was some kind of ant.
Okay, it was like practical, and like it came out like it rose
It
up,
looks really good.
and like it was like a full on practical like puppet. And I'm like, that thing's so gross, and it also like transitioned to CG, and I'm like, this whole movie looks great. Like I believed all of it. Like when you're journeying, like obviously like they CGI'd grass and all like the electrical poles and stuff, but like this looked a really good looking movie, man.
Yeah, I really like the way this movie looked. I also really like the designs of the monsters. I thought they were very unique and interesting. The Mavis scene, by the way, holy shit!
Yeah,
I was not expecting a scene that emotional right there.
The moment that the Mavis was introduced, and it's like, yeah, that one doesn't work, and I'm like, cool. So we're seeing a Mavis function at some point. And the way they did it, I'm like, the way it's just like, tell me your name, and he's like, okay, and then it's like, here's your mother. What would you say to your mother were she alive? And I'm like, damn, Mavis, who programmed you to be like this? This is nuts. You come out heavy. Holy shit!
And then when he talks to his mom, and then when she's like, "Would you like to hear a song?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then she starts playing "Stand by Me." I'm like, "Damn."
Yeah.
I love that scene.
There was a lot of emotional intelligence in that AI. Yeah, Mavis was a good scene.
Well, he even says is like, yeah, it was really good for me, like emotionally.
One of my favorite characters is actually Michael Rooker and Willow.
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, when they get him out of the pit and they're teaching him all the stuff, and he's like drawing, and I'm actually really glad that they are not in the whole movie, because part of me thought, okay, they're gonna go with him to find Amy, and then Amy's probably not gonna be who she says they are, and then he's gonna escape with them to go to the mountains. I really like they actually do split ways, and he uses the knowledge he learned from them to survive.
Yeah, piggybacking off that, I think Ryan and I were both of the same mind that going into this, Michael Rooker was basically going to be Yondu again.
Yeah.
That was going to be the character's attitude. I was so relieved that wasn't the character. I thought he was going to be through the whole movie, just like Ben said. I thought he was going to be like Dylan O'Brien's there, but Michael Rooker's the guy really doing it. And the fact that they committed to then he goes on his path.
I 100% thought Michael Rooker was going to stay around forever or like die or something.
Yeah. And they went neither of those paths, and I thought that was great.
Yeah.
There's a moment where he's talking to himself, thinking like, perhaps Amy's found a new guy. Maybe what are the odds that there's an attractive guy on this yacht captain thing? And when the yacht captain comes out, I turned to Zara and I said, "Well, damn, he's the most gorgeous man alive."
Oh yeah, the captain. Yeah, I immediately knew he was a bad guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I will say the thing that
I didn't know he was that bad.
No,
I thought he was just going to be like an asshole. I didn't think he was going to be like, I'm going to kill you all.
I definitely thought it was going to be like they were going to get on the yacht and he's like, actually, you're my captives now, but I'm a charming slave man. But like, he's a big butthole. Yeah. I thought when he met up with Jessica Henwick, what was her name?
Amy.
I thought it was just going to be, oh, we are back together, and then they're going to like have love, blah blah blah, and then it's going to have like a forced drama that they're going to break up and get back together. I'm glad it wasn't that. I'm glad it's like, it's been like 7 years, and like I found someone, he died, and like I'm not really feeling this right now. Like I'm glad that they had to work back into it. I didn't mind because sometimes I do hate when like couples are forced to get together. I do think it naturally worked itself out in a way that I liked. I don't know about you guys.
No, I agree. I agree.
No, I was actually scared that they were gonna. It would be like the forced thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was pulling for them to get together because he's this one guy who has this mind on this, who has his heart set on this one girl, and he finds out she's alive. It could have been one of the stories where she finds out that she's been dead for like 5+ years, whatever. And they're started talking to each other, and when he does get there, I thought I was like, it's been 7 years, and she tells him, "It's like, yeah, I've found someone. He met a lot, and he's gone." It's like, ooh,
yeah.
And he even realizes, like, oh yeah, I've been obsessing over you for the past 7 years, and you moved on.
I really like that leads him to go back to his colony.
That's what's so good.
Yeah, all of that really speaks to, I think, what I love so much about the movie is every time I thought it would zig, it zagged.
Yeah.
Like I never could 100% nail down what it was going to do next. Like the moment where it brings the crab out at the end, I'm like, yo, movie, I don't like.
I fully was
you always surprise me.
Yeah, like just like a fish that had legs, but it's like that's just a big ass crab. All right.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. The millipede monster. That like the dog gets stuck in between like the playground. What
the
a
most stressful scene in my life.
Yeah, that was horrifying. Like that was like I was super stressed. That was good
I was like, don't you dare kill that puppy. Don't you
I think they
dare do it.
I think they do a great job of creating a believable arc of him like learning skills, getting better at it, having started as this like guy who has a huge problem with freezing up, and the thing that makes him overcome it is like something he truly cares about, being threatened, which is the dog in that scene.
Yep.
All of that really worked for me, and that the message of the film wasn't about him and Amy getting together. What it was about is that because of that, it made him take this trip that made him go, yo, I think we all should actually try and live on the surface and have a life again, and we should actually move together towards the north where we can make things functional, because the world's still really cool, even as there are these things that we have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Which is really just like living in a like conceptually where they reach at the end of the film is less like they are monsters and more at like, yo, they're the animals of the world now. We have to learn how to live with nature again. That's all. That's really what it comes down to. We have to relearn how to do this.
Absolutely.
And snow spiders. Because at the end, Michael Rooker's like, he'll never get past the snow spiders.
Yeah.
This is like, not everything needs to be franchised out or everything, but like I really like this world and I really like the characters. Like I would love like a TV show like following like somebody in this world, or like, because like you brought up, it feels like Zombieland, like in a way, but like I like this like way more than like Zombieland. But like I would read a comic like following like the further adventures of these people and stuff.
The other thing I brought up is that I'm like, man, it's just because we read it recently, but wow, Centipede vibes, and I was really feeling that. But I didn't say it to Ryan, and then we hit the leeches, making him look like he's on drugs, and I'm like, I was gonna say that this is like Centipede without the drug trip, but here we are.
A guy, man trying to prove himself. Yeah.
I thought everything was executed really well. I think one of the things I really enjoyed, again, it kind of plays to the zig and zag in the way that I'm going to bring it up, but this I think they did an excellent job of very quickly, with even side characters, addressing the concept of loss, and how like I really like the line where he says like, you'd think you get used to it, you don't, and you're just seeing like characters you're never going to really spend time with, but like where they put their pictures that they still have of people and how they're still thinking of them and how they still honor them. And then the fact that when Michael Rooker and the girl show up, that they are not actually father-daughter. She is the kid of someone else, and he lost his kid.
Mm-hmm.
And when he says, I'm sorry, and he's like, don't be like, we all have that story, don't we?
Yeah.
Like everybody around has that story at this point. I also love like when he learns he's from Fairfield and he's like, yo man, that's badass. Like, nobody made it out of Fairfield. Like,
Yeah, that's really cool seeing that flashback too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like I just love seeing just like a giant ant attack a town. Like they're in this car, and then they see like the flares go up, and then you see it. There's like
boy, do I have a movie for you.
Ants,
them,
yeah,
I thought that the flashbacks were good and they were utilized well.
Mm-hmm.
They were paced well throughout the film. All of the creature moments were done really well. The emotion that he has, both between the dog and other people, God, him and the dog, he really sold me in that relationship.
Good dog.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I agree.
But like the whole progression of him throughout the film just feels very, very real and sincere, and like it moves correctly.
I love good character arc. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that it just all really meshed well together.
And I think this is like the director's like second movie. Like, and their first movie wasn't very big. So and also because this movie was shelved because of the pandemic for a bit. Like, I don't know how well it's doing. I know critically it's doing really well. People really like this movie from everything I've seen. I just wonder if like it's gonna get swept under the rug because when it came out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It might. It goes back to what I talked about. How like I've talked about. Studios need to make certain concessions that movies just aren't going to do as well as they would have.
Yeah.
So you got to like react accordingly.
Yeah. I definitely like. I'd like to think that if this had come out in theaters and I'd heard the buzz, I would have gone to the theater for this.
Yeah.
Like I kind of regret that I didn't.
Any monster movie I want
to
go to
like this. In some ways, I think this would have been a great drive-through movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a really solid film. I think that it uses its time well. It is stuffed with a lot, but I don't feel like it ever feels overstuffed.
I never felt dragged. No.
No, yeah, I think it all flows together really well. Everything just delivered in such a great way. Yeah.
What's the line? One of the captain's guards, he sees a giant crab coming. He's like, "Oh yeah, we're dying. Oh, we're dying.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, we're dead. We're dying."
That murdered us. Oh yeah, that was
that
crab eats them.
I will say there's one bit about this movie that like it really doesn't detract. Everything else is so good that it doesn't matter. However, I do think that they lay it on a little too thick to do the radio went out at an important part of the conversation.
Oh, he did it multiple times.
3 times.
Yeah, that's right.
For him. And I'm like, that's and like the third time they didn't even bother for the reason. Like at least with the second time it was Mavis, and the first time it was like a power running issue.
Mm-hmm.
But the third time it's just like just stopped.
Yeah,
I guess. And you're like, come on, man! Like 3 times in one movie, like that's a lot.
It's him. He's giving off an electromagnetic pulse.
He's just so
like it didn't allow, because it's that same moment he's on the radio with them, and he could have still just been having the conversation with them, and then saw the berries that were bad, and that made him leave. And they're like, "Yo, man, Joel, what happened?" Joel, and that would have worked just as well, but they went a third time for the radio cutout on there, and Bentley's like, guys, what happened? And I'm like, come on, that's too many times.
That could have worked if he made a joke like, how many times is this going to happen to me? But like, it's just like, man, this really does happen all the time. That's like,
The food stealer joke really did work.
That's
especially
a good
with the
one,
payoff that the yacht captain is like, he's a food stealer, and he's like, you're right.
Yeah.
I love how it was Michael Rooker, Mavis, and everyone, and the people of the new colony were like,
stealing
food. He's like, why does everyone think that? No.
Mavis was my favorite one, where she's like, why are you away from your colony? Did you steal food? And he's like, no.
Her condescending voice.
Yeah, exactly. I love the sky jellies. I just want to make mention of them. I didn't even think that they'd do something like that, but that was really cool.
No, that's cute. Yeah.
So I really don't like jellyfish, like at all. Like that's one of the things as much as I love swimming in the ocean, I just don't like jellyfish. But I did think the sky jelly scene was pretty cool. Still,
jellyfish are really pretty.
Man,
yeah, they're pretty, but they can kill you, and they sting you, and they sneak up on you, little bastards.
You know, not every jellyfish can kill you, right?
I know not every jellyfish can kill him, but I know they hurt a lot.
The best ones make the best jelly. Nope, my joke's gone. Never mind. Bye.
You were trying to do a SpongeBob joke. I know you were.
Yeah, I think this movie is very inventive. It reminded me of Monsters, Gareth Edwards' film.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's an adventure movie. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of in that low budget feel of how like the world is different because of these creatures, and I did just a really good job exploring that world.
I do think this movie does a lot of like, it lays up a thing, the food ceiling or the berries or the mavis and things like that, or the grenade. Like
Little
all
world
of these things
building.
are like thrown up, and you're like, I know that's coming back.
Yep.
But it never bothered me. Like I was never, like, and this is where we use this thing, or this is where we're doing the like. Its setups are clear, but they always feel like they're paid off in the right way.
They're earned.
They're earned in the right way.
Funny enough, I was expecting him to use the hand grenade much later in the movie, but when he used it against the sandworm, the queen sandworm, I was like, okay. And then of course when we get to the crab, I'm like, okay, he's just gonna blow the crab up. And then when he looks in the eyes,
arm
like,
cannon.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's another moment, like with the eyes thing, and then you're like, he's definitely gonna encounter one that he's gonna be like, it's in the eyes, and recognize that he can let it be peaceful.
Mm-hmm. He saves the crab. I like the crab just destroying the yacht. Just
on a similar note, I was surprised that we never saw the Chumbler again.
Oh yeah.
Come back
Big
around in
Toad.
some way, yeah. But we never saw it again.
Post-credit sequence we didn't get. Scary Toad, man.
Yo, that toad reminded me of the toads you had to fight in Star Wars. Fallen Order.
Oh, Ogdo.
Yeah.
Ogdo. That was his name. I remember.
I really enjoyed this. I don't know if I have much more to add. Shall we?
It's just really good. Like I think more people should watch it. It's really a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be good, but I didn't expect it would be this.
I completely forgot the trailer after I saw it. So I don't remember this movie as I started it. I'm like, this started to come back to me, and it surprised me again. The good it zigged when I thought it was going to zag. So yeah.
Oh my god, the map reveal. When he flips over the map and it's the "We love you"
it's so
safe, and I'm like, man, that hit good.
That was a good moment. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I really
also
like that.
he broke my heart on the moment when he's on the drugs and he sees the people coming over. He's like, "Have you seen my dog? I think I lost him because I yelled at him, and I might not see him again." And
I thought he was about to get murdered.
And I was like, man, I hope Boy comes back.
Yeah,
that was so sad.
To the rescue.
I figured Boy would come back, but I thought Boy would come back with Michael Rooker.
Yeah,
for a final save.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't need was the leeches, because it just, more than anything, just because it really didn't feel that different from any other leech scene in any other film.
Sure.
And
they look kind of just gross
leeches. They look gross and slightly bigger than your typical leech, but they were more or less leeches.
God, and I'm like, should have just been one giant one. Just
that's what I was expecting. The moment that he said "ow" and he was pulling himself out, I'm like, it's gonna be a whole leech on his leg.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
that's what I thought. But then it's just the leeches, and I'm like, that's all right. I mean, it doesn't really hurt the movie, but again, that's just kind of a thing where that's that moment. I just kind of went, all right.
Yeah. Rating time.
Yeah, let's rate it. Sparks, since you said last, why don't you rate it?
8.5 for what it is. I think it's for the budget that it had, for what it's doing. I think it's really, really excellent. Just an impressive script with a solid cast, great production work. I think they really sold the whole thing through and through. Very little to complain about. So solid. Really enjoyed it.
Ryan?
9. Good fun. Nice, just hour, 45 minutes. Give me that plot, give me the characters, give me the monsters. A lot of fun. Highly recommend.
Ben?
I was teetering on 8.5 to a 9, but yeah, this is a 9. I also had a huge amount of fun. I love how we keep seeing, or these guys kept saying it zigged when they thought it was going to zag. I love how it's not a cookie cutter love story, and it takes some chances. I mean, very little to complain about. I had a blast watching this movie. I would love to watch it again.
Take a chance.
I amend. I move to 9.
9.
I'm going to say 8.5. I feel 8.5.
That's very good. Still, I love it all.
Could be
you are the hardest to please, so that's totally good praise.
I loved Space Sweepers, and everyone else didn't.
You are the hardest to please when the rest of us are pleased.
All right, let's move into our book club.
I don't.
Show's still going, guys. We're now here with the book club. It's my turn. Marvel's Avengers Prelude, Black Widow Strikes by Fred Van Lente.
Excuse me.
And a whole lot of artists.
It's true.
I'm not going to read them all. What do we think about this one?
I thought it was fine.
Yeah. Sparks?
Yeah, I have to agree. I pretty much landed at a fine.
Yeah. Ben?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I think this is actually the first Black Widow comic or Black Widow centric book I've ever read.
That's what I was going to ask you guys, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I also thought this was fine. Here's the thing. Here's why I picked it. We were talking about it a bit post show for one of our, I think, WandaVision. Fake Nerds After Dark guys, come and you get these post show talks. No, and I remember that this is the only time really that the MCU had like a comic book that was just a story, not leading into a movie, not being an adaptation of a movie, was just a story set in the MCU. And I remember liking it because of it, and I wanted to revisit it because we were talking about it. So that's why I picked the subpar book club.
I don't think it's subpar. I think that just it's even as it is the most ambitious of the MCU comics, it's still an MCU comic, and it's still hindered by we can't really develop this character much.
Yeah, and
because you need the initiative of Marvel Studios approving. That's what I want when we were talking about this. I want them to say, yes, we're approving this story. We're working with you to tell this story in an extra comic form, which is really what the Disney Plus shows are doing for us now. But to explore the world in that direction and do something. So because I wanted to know, what was that first year like for Steve after the Avengers event happened, but before we see him in Winter Soldier? What was he doing?
Mm-hmm.
What was up? How was that adjustment? There's stuff to mine there, and they don't give the permission to really actually mine it. In general, and Black Widow is a pretty prime example where they have their signposts of how far they can range on her, and it's not very wide. I do like that, it does feel like her and Coulson connect in a way that feels solidly in line with how we see them behaving in Avengers, and I do think that works. I'll tell you one thing that really bothered me, but I got it. I understood why, but it bothered me that every time Coulson's checking in with her, he's just always constantly watching view screens of events that have already happened in the MCU.
Just the Avengers,
and he's just I'm just going to constantly have every Marvel movie before this moment on screen.
Just to let the audience know he's
just to never let you forget. But and it wouldn't bother me as much. There's one panel where he's not looking directly at it, but then there's another panel where he's talking to her, but he's watching those screens with the other heroes on it. And I'm watch a screen related to what she's doing, dude.
I've read every single Black Widow comic that's come out in the last 10 years. She's had probably 4 or 5 series that's gone on with various miniseries, and they've all, for the most part, been really, really good. That's the thing about the movies. They luckily allow more comics to get made of those characters. So this is probably the worst Black Widow comic I've ever read. No offense to the choice you made, no offense to Fred Van Lente, but this just feels like Black Widow number 17, the off issue where she does one of her random missions in between arcs.
So I told Ryan, because I read this on Marvel Unlimited, and the way the Marvel Unlimited app works, I kind of forget if I haven't gone to it for a little bit, is that when you pop up a series, the latest issue is at the top.
Yeah.
And I wasn't paying enough attention. So I read most of issue 3 first.
Yeah.
Because where issue 3 starts doesn't feel weird. Because
she's starting to be a model.
And that's kind of a good, now if I'd read issue 2, I would have been lost.
Yes.
But issue 3, it kind of really captures that ancillary feel of what I'm describing, which is you just feel like you're just popping in for this interlude, and it's not allowed to really say something.
Yeah. One of my issues with this book is the art. No offense to any of these artists, but I don't. Comic book tie-in art is never. They do the best with what they can, I guess, but they always end up being really crowded and really wordy, and because they don't have a lot of pages to work with what they need to. So the art is really hindered by the fact that there's just so much happening on one page. You could have multiple panels going crisscross everywhere with huge bubbles in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Also, just like between 3 issues, like there's a different artist on like each issue.
Yeah.
And like I think the best artist is the first issue artist because like there's a drastic decline. I think in even issue 3, I think might even get worse.
Issue 3 is pretty solid when it gets to the Sophia and her ending.
Oh,
like
the fight
ending
out?
where
Okay,
they face off with each other all the way to the last.
I'm just thinking of issue 2, and I think issue 2 is my.
I understand. Yeah.
It just feels like
issue 2. She just doesn't even look like she's trying to look like Scarlett Johansson at all.
Not at
all.
Like
they don't even care, and they also like they tastelessly keep her in her underwear half the time of this comic.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Whether it's a bathing suit or underwear, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's just
the
majority of what she does.
I thought that like what they do sometimes with the tie-ins, like I thought they were going to use a minor villain that they would never use in a movie to be her villain, but it just turns out to be a Black Widow super fan, and I just think that's a really odd choice for a villain, considering like I mean. She's supposed to be like one of the most secretive like assassins on the planet. I know she works for S.H.I.E.L.D. now, so she's a little more open. It's just such an odd. I found it to be a really weird choice for like this is the first Marvel comic of this Black Widow. It's about like a teenage girl who's obsessed with her.
I thought that could have worked in the sense that like I like when she says you can call me Sophia. It's the name of the place where I first saw you. I thought that was a good idea.
Sure. Yeah.
And I like her whole motivation of like you've gone soft, so I'm going to become the Black Widow.
I
want to take the mantle of that.
Yes,
but the whole thing is that like Natasha is saying what she wants to do is stop her from pursuing that path because it's terrible.
Yeah.
And that's what she's trying to correct her life from. But when you get to issue 3, Natasha's entirely abandoned that concept. Like she's not trying to save Sophia at all anymore. Yeah. It doesn't matter. And I wish that was. This is where like I wish it had a whole extra issue where like when Sophia and Natasha get to each other, it's just a whole issue of them conversing because that's the part I care about. I don't care like if I want to watch the action beats of the MCU, that's what I go to the movies for. If I want to get some character stuff going, that's what I want the comics to do.
Yeah.
Sure. This book also collected Tales of Suspense number 52. It's the first appearance of Black Widow. What do we think about that classic?
What a goofy! I love old comic book guys because Iron Man, like Boris shoots him with like a water gun, and Iron Man's like, Boris, you're short circuiting me! Gosh! And Black Widow's just like a weird spy lady. What an awful comic! I love it. I love old Iron Man.
It's really interesting that Vanko and Black Widow are in this issue, basically being the template for Iron Man 2.
Absolutely, yeah. Like people are like, why is Black Widow and Iron Man? I'm like, bro, it's like it's technically from the comics. She's just very, very, very much like this. Like I'm a spy lady, and like she disappears, and like who knows where she'll show up again. Crimson Dynamo's in there, and in Iron Man 2, he kind of becomes like Whiplash Crimson Dynamo. It's it's a comic from like the '60s, so like it's what you get. It's silly.
It's aged.
Mm-hmm. It's aged. Oh boy, yeah. I loved it. I loved how silly it was.
I like he looks like I need to run some electricity through my suit. It's a good thing I keep this extension cord plugs into light bulb.
Hell yeah, baby, that's amazing.
Things that don't seem stupid when you're writing it in the 60s.
Yeah, think about Tony Stark in Endgame. And just like think about Iron Man plugging up to
we're talking about a time period where like people like didn't just read these things, they like read these things, and so like they'd go and they'd have conversations about how these things can work and how they can happen and like what's so cool about it, and like it was cool that the comic told you how he did it with the extension cord. And it's like, man, so smart. Look at him.
That's Stan.
That's a genius right there.
That's Stan Lee. Let me tell you.
There's so much like narration text, and with a quick switch of his ray gun that uses this power so that it can do this.
I love it.
So much words.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I figured it would be about fine. I remember liking it more than I did.
This bums me out because I know you guys are unfamiliar with a lot of her comics, and this really makes me might pick a Black Widow comic from recent memory that's actually hella dope. Like Mark Waid and Chris Samney have a great run. Nathan Edmondson and Phil Noto have a great run. Kelly Thompson has a current run that's really good. Like Black Widow's really cool. When she's there.
Natasha's dead, but see her in a movie soon.
Hell yeah, coming out in 2020.
Yeah, the thing is, I would, like Sparks said, like we always talk about, I would have liked Marvel to have kept doing tie-ins like this. Eventually one of them would hit, but kind of expanding on characters and stories in ways that we don't see them connect to the movies.
Yeah.
Just help us understand who these characters are the next time we see them in a movie.
And I guess now we're lucky enough times passed where we're just getting that in television form.
Yeah. It's the best of both worlds.
Word.
Shall we end the show?
Sure.
3 hours, baby. Let's do it.
Sparks, your book club next week. Do you know what it is?
I do. A while back,
Oh, we're doing it.
we were reading Stargirl, if y'all remember.
Yeah.
Hold on. And in there was an ad for a comic called Giant Killer. And Ryan and I grabbed onto that pretty hard. So we are reading the comic Giant Killer, written and with art done by Dan Barrington.
Woo!
Awesome.
Giant Killer also comes with a one-shot handbook that is a field guide to it. It's called Giant Killer A to Z, a field guide to big monsters. You don't have to read that. You just need to read the 6-issue series Giant Killer.
I assume that's one of those kind of the X of Swords handbooks that it kind of is just like a guide. Like, here's explaining.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Okay, next week we're going to be talking about Arch Enemy, the new
Finally!
Manganiello film.
I've been watching so much Joe Manganiello D&D content recently. That dude's real cool.
Okay, so stay tuned for all of that. Of course, if you're watching the live stream or the rewind or anywhere, we have a YouTube page. If you're watching it, you know it. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel and check out the other programs on this channel. We have a lot of great stuff, such as Fake Nerds Watch, which is currently going through WandaVision. Episode 5, the link below. You can check that out. Episode 6 coming. We also have Basement Arcade, which are our Let's Play series, and Basement Arcade Pause Menu, which has a review of Spider-Man PlayStation 4 and a new episode coming soon. And of course, we also have the Fake Nerd Book Club, which Mark's alluded to up top, where we're currently doing Little Char and the Gang. And Mag says good night. If I can pull it up there. Good night, Mag.
Good night, bud. Thanks again for watching me play Fortnite earlier.
Yeah.
Thanks for always watching these live streams. Awesome.
Yeah, he's our MVP, dude.
Yeah. All right. You can check out Little Char and the Gang coming soon. Of course, hey guys, pandemics, lost my job because of you shits. No, I'm kidding. Pandemic is still going, so make sure to check out these our Crafted by Z masks. They have our logo on them. Promote our show. Support my girlfriend. Love it. Links in the description. Of course, we also have our Patreon, where we are currently doing. We have 3 tiers on Patreon. You can check out our $5 tier. Our $10 tier has the shirts, the exclusive Patreon shirts that will get better. We're not going to just be a thing plastered on a shirt. We're going to get a nice thing plastered on a shirt anyway.
Cool.
You can check out all 3 of those tiers in the link in the description below. Subscribe to the Patreon, guys. I want to put some more content up there. So have our TeePublic, which has a bunch of our merchandise, mugs, masks, even shirts. We have the Basement Arcade and the Fake Nerds Watch up there now. We of course just put up I'd rather be a fake nerd than a true fan. Lots of cool shirts up there. Greatly appreciate the support. You can find all these links in the description below, or you can find us on www.fakenerdpodcast.com. You can find everything there. Link below. Thank you to everyone who listens. Thank you to everyone who watches. Thanks to Mag, who watches every Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day, Mag. An hour ago, I think. But thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate all your support. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our themes and some other cool stuff that you do for us, including your podcast. Suburban Proctologist Official is on Facebook. It's called Suburban Proctologist. I read the wrong line. Or you can find that on Instagram at Subrock Podcast. You can find him at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards. Really talented guy. Really funny guy. And of course, you can find Mike Matola on Instagram and Twitter at Mike Matola. He did our logo and some cool designs that you'll see soon. And of course, our trivia challenges, which we will get more up soon. Really excited for this one if we can make it work. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BC McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ben?
You can find me apparently embracing Fortnite in all of its glory now at BenMagnet27 on Instagram, Twitter, and I still do love and play retro video games. You can see me write about retro games on oldschoolgamermagazine.com. As we talked about at the very beginning of the episode, my newest article is up right now with a new one coming soon.
Sparks.
You can find me just enjoying being a proud uncle at SparksWitty on Instagram and Twitter, SparkzWitty.
Ryan.
DJ Tony Snark everywhere.
Jeez, that's some ASMR shit. All right, subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Rate and review wherever you get us. We greatly appreciate it, guys. I am Pandora. Until next time you see us, until next week, stay fake nerds.